Distinguished guests, please allow me to share several Ladies and gentlemen, please stand as we welcome our guests of honor.
Mengumumkan ketibaan yang berusaha Dr. Syamsuri bin Abdullah dan Div-Div Kehormat. Hadirin diminta untuk kekal berdiri bagi menyanyikan lagu Negaraku. Hadirin dipersilakan duduk. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh dan salam sejahtera. Yang berusaha Dr. Syamsuri bin Abdullah, Timbalan Ketua Pengarah Perancangan Jabatan Pendidikan Politeknik dan Kolej Komuniti Kementerian Pendidikan Tinggi, yang dihormati Profesor Dr. Ho Chin Kuan, Naib Chancellor Asia Pacific University of Technology and Innovation APU,
Senior management members of APU, chief executive officers and representatives of companies, academic leaders, lecturers, fellow students, and participants.
Good morning
And welcome to
the Actuarial Summit 2025.
I am Michelle, a student ambassador from the Institute and Faculty of Actuaries.
Dan saya Nabiha, pelajar sains actuary dari APU,
And we are honored to be your MCs for today.
Hadirin sekalian, bagi memberkati majlis kita pada hari ini, majlis menjemput pensyarah aktuari APU, Fellow Encik Muhammad Amin Hasim bagi memimpin bacaan doa. Dipersilakan.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Allahumma salli wa sallim ala Sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. O Almighty, bless this gathering. Bless our university and all who strive within it for excellence. Make our work an act of worship and our knowledge a source of light for the world. We stand before you in gratitude and humility for the gift of knowledge that you have bestowed upon us. We stand before you in gratitude for the blessing of unity and for the opportunity to serve through education. ربنا زدنا علما وفهما وحكمة. Our Lord, increase us in knowledge, understanding, and wisdom. Grant our students curiosity that leads to wisdom, perseverance that leads to success, and humility that keeps them close to you. Grant our lecturers and educators and professors sincerity in their teaching and patience in their effort. O Almighty, make this institution a garden of knowledge, a place of understanding, and a platform that builds people of integrity and compassion. Guide us to use our knowledge for the prosperity of all humanity, regardless of race, religion, and nationality. Our Lord, protect us from ignorance and arrogance, and replace it with humility, sincerity, and understanding. Let this gathering be filled with mercy, its purpose guided by your wisdom, and its outcomes blessed by your grace. ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم. Our Lord, accept from us, for you are the all-hearing, the all-knowing. وتب علينا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم. And forgive us, for you are the acceptor of repentance, the most merciful. والحمد لله رب العالمين. And all praise is due to God, the Lord of all the worlds.
Amin, amin, amin ya Rabbal Alamin. Terima kasih diucapkan kepada Encik Muhammad Amin Hasim atas pimpinan bacaan doa sebentar tadi.
Ladies and gentlemen, before we commence, we would like to extend our heartfelt appreciation to each of you for being with us this morning. We are gathered here today for the Actuarial Summit 2025, which stands as a premier event uniting actuarial students, educators, and professionals from across Malaysia.
We are delighted to welcome academics and students joining us via live streaming from Nanyang Technological University Singapore, Singapore Management University, and Mahidol University Thailand.
Nabiha, don't you sense the excitement building in the air? Because I certainly do. With all these actuarial minds gathered in one room, I can't wait to see what the day has in store for us.
Indeed, Michelle, the energy is truly inspiring. As we embark on this remarkable day, let's take a moment to acknowledge and dedication the collaboration that made this event possible. The organizers, Asia Pacific University of Technology and Innovation APU, and the Institute and Faculty of Actuaries IFOA.
We would also like to express our sincere gratitude to our sponsors, the Actuarial Society of Malaysia, ASM, and Etika Insurance and Takaful. Ladies and gentlemen, we now have the honor of hearing the opening remarks from the Honorable Dato' Parmjit Singh, Chief Executive Officer of APU. We are pleased to invite Professor Dr. Ho Chin Kwan to the stage to deliver them on his behalf. Please join me in extending a warm round of applause.
Thank you to our two MCs. I think you are doing a wonderful job, smiling all the way early in the morning. Can we just give them an applause? Thank you. Selamat pagi, salam sejahtera, good morning. Yang berusaha Timbalan Ketua Pengarah Pendidikan Tinggi Dr. Syamsuri Abdullah, terima kasih kerana sudi meluangkan masa untuk bersama kami pada pagi hari Sabtu. Ya, thank you, sir. And we also have industry leaders from the insurance industry with us. It's not easy to get all of these senior leaders to be in one room together with us. So I want to acknowledge the presence of a few of these leaders here. Mr. KK Ng, who is the chairman of Persatuan Industri Persatuan Insurance Malaysia. Thank you very much, sir, for the support. We also have Mr. Chua Kim Soon, who is the Chief Executive Officer of Persatuan Insurance Malaysia, PIAM. Thank you, sir. We have Ms. Leong Suyen, who is the Chief Executive Officer of Etika Life Insurance Berhad. Thank you for supporting us and being with us today. And we have also Gary, who is the Chief Executive Officer of AIA General Berhad. Thank you for your presence here today. Not forgetting our very strong partner, the representative from the Institute and Faculty of Actuaries. Thank you for being with us, and you are always welcome. We always see you on campus. Thank you so much for your support and for IFOA's support. Distinguished industry, we also have academics from other universities and fellow colleagues, but the most important are students. Students, where are you? We have students from, I was told, from APU, from UITM, from USIM, and many. If I forget your university, can you just shout out, where are you from? Ke mana? USIM Melaya, oh dekat je, kat sini. Okay, so selamat datang pada pelajar-pelajar, ya. Okay. Seterusnya ni saya akan berucap dalam bahasa Inggeris lah, because we have guests from SMU, NTU, and also Mahidol University, so welcome. The Actuarial Summit 2025 is a testimony to the strength of partnership and collaboration between academia and industry. For APU, we position ourselves as a very much applied university where our students, our graduates enjoy 100% employability because we do what matters to the industry in class and out of class. And today's event is jointly organized by IFOA and also APU. Yeah? And as our name implies, APU continuously embrace technologies across all programs. And in fact, I was told by Dr. Raja, if I'm not saying correctly, it's his fault, right? We are the first university to have a data analytics specialism in our actuarial studies program. Betul, Dr. Raja? Okay. And also fintech. Okay. So Dr. Raja is the head of school for actuarial studies. And to remain relevant and impactful, we collaborate closely with professional bodies, mainly IFOA, yeah, with key actuary industrial partners. And when I was having a conversation with some of the key industry leaders, I was asked, when did APU start our actuarial programs? So in 2013, that's the answer. And I got it right because it's here in my speech. So 2013, we started Bachelor of Science in Actuarial Studies. That's 2013, 2018, we got full accreditation from IFOA, positioning APU's graduates as a globally recognized professional pathway. And in 2022, as I mentioned just now, we became the first school in the world to have a data analytics specialism. And the good news is that also last year, we became the first university in Asia and one of only 7 in the world to receive exemptions for all 3 core practice exams for a Master of Science in Actuarial Science. So thank you so much to the school and IFOA for this. And why we do this is to make sure that we have very good talents, students, graduates to go into the industry. Yeah? And of course today, we hear the word ESG, SDG all over the place. Now, it's not just lip service, but we want to make sure also the incorporation of such elements into our programs. Yeah? So, once again, I'm sure you're looking forward to the program. Today, we are deeply honored once again to have Dr. Shamsuri with us pagi ni. Yeah? And thank you to Kementerian Pendidikan Tinggi, MOHI, for the support dan kita bersama-sama untuk membangunkan bakat untuk industri. And our sincere appreciation to Etika, Actuarial Society of Malaysia, Persatuan Insurans Malaysia, and our industry partners for your generous support. So thank you. Have a fruitful Actuarial Summit 2025. Sekian, terima kasih. Enjoy your day today. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Ho, for the speech, and thank you for delivering those inspiring remarks from Datuk Pamjit.
Following that inspiring opening speech, we are honored to present a message from one of the most respected leaders in the global actuarial profession, Mr. Paul Sweeting, President of the Institute and Faculty of Actuaries. Although Mr. Sweeting is unable to join us in person today, he has kindly prepared a special recorded address for this occasion. Please direct your attention to the screen as we welcome Mr. Paul Sweeting through this video message.
Hello everyone, and a warm welcome to the Actuarial Summit 2025. It's a real pleasure to be speaking to you all, and I'm delighted that the Institute and Faculty of Actuaries is collaborating once again with Asia Pacific University to bring this event to life. Congratulations to the organising team, the speakers, and especially to all of you participating, students, academics, and industry professionals, who make the Malaysian and regional actuarial community such a vibrant one. The theme this year, Sustainable Future, could not be more important. Sustainability is about far more than protecting the environment. It's about how we build systems, organisations, and communities that can thrive in the long term. It's about resilience, balance, and shared responsibility. And it's the theme that sits at the heart of actuarial science. As actuaries, we are used to thinking about the future in quantifiable ways. We model risk, uncertainty, and outcomes. But sustainability challenges us to go a step further, to consider not just what the numbers tell us, but how our decisions today shape the opportunities of tomorrow. That's what makes this summit so exciting. It's a chance to explore how actuarial thinking can help build a world that's fairer, stronger, and more sustainable. The first panel today, From Technical to Transformational, Actuaries as Business Leaders, brings that vision to life. It's a C-suite level discussion that will help you see the profession through a wider, more forward-looking lens. Actuarial skills, our ability to analyse data, understand uncertainty, and see the bigger picture, are now being applied in leadership, innovation, and strategy across diverse industries. You'll hear how actuaries are leading in technology, data analytics, healthcare, consulting, sustainability, and risk management, and how actuarial thinking can influence business decisions and even public policy. It's a reminder that actuaries don't just work within systems, we help shape them. The second panel, Sustainability by Design, Actuaries at the Crossroads of Risk and Responsibility, continues that journey. It highlights how our profession is evolving to meet global sustainability challenges, from climate risk modelling and health systems to investments and enterprise risk management. Actuaries today are applying their expertise to design solutions that promote resilience and long-term value. The conversation will show how our technical foundations translate into responsible decision-making and societal impact, bridging the gap between numbers and the human lives behind them. And that brings me to something I think is at the core of sustainability: people. The mentor hot seat and your image, your impact, the unspoken rule of professionalism. These sessions remind us that our profession's future depends not only on what we know, but on who we are and how we grow. Technical skills matter, but so do integrity, communication, and empathy. Professionalism is the foundation of trust, and mentorship is how we ensure that trust endures. Each of you has a role to play, whether you're seeking guidance or offering it. To the students and young actuaries joining us today, you represent the sustainable future we're all working towards. You're entering a world full of complexity, technological change, climate challenges, social shifts, but also full of opportunity. The actuarial mindset, curious, analytical, ethical, is exactly what the world needs right now. You have the potential to lead change, not just adapt to it. This summit is more than a day of discussions. It's a call to action. It's about recognising that actuarial science isn't just a profession of numbers, it's a profession of purpose. Each of you has the ability to use your skills to help businesses act more responsibly, governments plan more wisely, and communities prepare more effectively for the future. On behalf of the Institute and Faculty of Actuaries, I want to thank Asia Pacific University for their partnership, the speakers and mentors for their generosity, and every one of you for being part of this journey. Together, we're not just imagining a sustainable future, we're building it, one idea, one connection, and one actuarial insight at a time. I wish you all a meaningful, inspiring, and empowering summit.
Thank you, Mr. Paul Sweeting, for the insightful address. Honorables, ladies and gentlemen, we now invite you to direct your attention to the screen for the Actuarial Summit 2025 official video. Please enjoy the presentation.
Our world is defined by uncertainty and risk, concepts deeply rooted in economics and finance. Today, these challenges are amplified by the escalating impact of climate change, presenting industries and global economies with unprecedented tests. To navigate this new landscape, we need innovative solutions to mitigate risk and build lasting resilience. In this complex environment, the framework of ESG, environmental, social, and governance, has moved from a niche concern to a strategic imperative. And with this shift, the role of the actuary has evolved. No longer confined to traditional insurance and pensions, actuaries are now at the forefront of sustainability, advanced risk modeling, and high-level strategic decision-making. Here in Malaysia, we face a striking opportunity. With fewer than 300 qualified actuaries, the growing demand for these skills creates a powerful platform for future professionals to shape our industries and fortify our national economic resilience. This is not just a local phenomenon, but a global trend. Recognizing this urgent need, Malaysia's higher education sector has risen to the challenge. Leading institutions, including University Malaya, University Kebangsaan Malaysia, University Technology Mara, University Science Islam Malaysia, and a host of private universities have established robust actuarial science programs to nurture the next generation of talent. Guiding this educational evolution is the Institute and Faculty of Actuaries, IFOA, from the United Kingdom. Through program accreditation, awareness campaigns, and academic competitions, the IFOA ensures that our graduates are equipped with the latest skills and meet the highest global standards. Among these institutions, the Asia Pacific University, APU, has emerged as a beacon of excellence. Under the visionary leadership of its founder, Dr. Parmjit Singh, and through its School of Mathematics, Actuarial, and Quantitative Studies, APU has built a remarkable track record. It has graduated hundreds of actuarial science students with an exceptional achievement of over 80% earning maximum exemptions from the IFOA's core principles examinations. And in 2025, APU reached a historic milestone, becoming the first university in Asia and one of only 7 worldwide to offer a Master of Actuarial Science program that grants exemptions for all 3 IFOA core practice examinations, in addition to 4 core principles. This program provides a fast-track pathway for students to qualify as professional actuaries, significantly accelerating their careers while upholding the highest international standards. APU's commitment extends beyond academia to direct nation building. The university is dedicated to nurturing future-ready professionals who lead with analytical excellence, industry relevance, and social responsibility. This commitment is brought to life through initiatives like today, the Actuarial Summit 2025. Co-hosted with the IFOA and sponsored by Etika and the Actuarial Society of Malaysia, the summit will serve as a dynamic platform. It is where future actuaries can learn from industry leaders through various activities and pit their skills in a datathon developing innovative solutions to real-world challenges. This event, gathering participants from universities across Malaysia, truly embodies our mission, empowering the next generation of actuaries to shape a sustainable and resilient future.
Thank you for such inspiring video. To officially begin our summit, allow me to share a special pantun in Bahasa Melayu. Terbang di awan, burung jentayu, di atas papan, batang jerami. Tampilah tuan, kami merayu, bersama ucapan kata perasmi. Bagi merasmikan persidangan Actuary 2025, Majlis dengan segala hormatnya menjemput Dr. Syamsuri bin Abdullah sebagai mewakili Yang Berhormat Datuk Seri Dr. Zamri Abdul Kadir, Menteri Kementerian Pendidikan Tinggi Malaysia untuk menyampaikan ucapan perasmian. Majlis dengan segala hormatnya mempersilakan.
Auzubillahi minasyaitonirrajim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin wassalatu wassalamu ala asyrafil anbiya'i wal mursalin wa ala alihi washabbihi ajma'in. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera, salam Malaysia Madani, and a very good morning to all of you. Terima kasih kepada kedua-dua pengacara majlis, Ashel and Nabiha, dan juga pembaca doa Encik Muhammad Amin. Professor Dr. Ho Chin Kwan, Vice Chancellor Asia Pacific University, Miss Prishini, Senior Regional Manager, Institute and Faculty of Actuaries, IFOA, distinguished industry and academic guests, fellow colleagues, and all students. Actually, I'm very much delighted, honored, and humbled by this invitation, and to be here in APU, the University of Technology and Innovation, dulu dipanggil APIT, and this renowned university, private university in Malaysia and also in the world. When I refer to your website, you have more than students coming from more than 130 countries, and you have about 18,000 students. So give a round of applause to yourself. Since I'm representing my bosses, my minister, and also my Secretary General, and my boss has given me the speech text and in Malay. So I hope I can read the text, and I hope for the international students who do not know Malay, you can ask your Malaysian friends to translate, or you can open your Google Translator, I suppose. So allow me to read the text. Alhamdulillah, syukur kehadrat Allah Subhanahu wa taala kerana dengan izin dan rahmatnya kita dapat berhimpun pada pagi yang mulia dalam acara penting ini, iaitu the Actuarial Summit 2025, Advancing Actuarial Excellence for a Sustainable Future, yang dianjurkan oleh APU bersama IFOA. Saya berasa amat gembira dan bangga kerana menjadi sebahagian daripada majlis yang menandakan satu langkah penting dalam perjalanan APU dan komitmennya yang berterusan terhadap kecemerlangan dalam pendidikan tinggi, khususnya dalam bidang sains actuary. Saya ingin merakamkan setinggi-tinggi penghargaan saya kepada APU, IFOA dan semua pihak berkenaan kerana memilih tema yang sangat relevan, bukan sahaja untuk memperkukuhkan kerangka pendidikan dan profesional dalam actuary, tetapi juga menyambungkan bidang ini kepada agenda nasional dan global seperti kelestarian, pengurusan risiko dan pembangunan modal insan. Hadirin yang saya muliakan, di era hari ini dunia sedang melakukan transformasi yang amat pantas. Kemajuan digital, data besar ataupun big data, kecerdasan buatan AI, perubahan iklim dan risiko-risiko baru yang jauh lebih kompleks daripada apa yang kita hadapi dahulu. Perubahan seperti ini menuntut kita sebagai sebuah negara yang sedang bergerak ke hadapan agar pendidikan tinggi kita, latihan profesional dan bakat kita turut berada di barisan hadapan. Bidang actuary kini bukan sekadar berkaitan insurans atau pengiraan statistik tradisional. By the way, our Secretary General, do you know who is him? Datuk Dr. Anisi bin Ibrahim. His PhD in actuarial science. He's graduated from the degree and the masters from UITM and the PhD from Durham University in UK. So he's part of this fraternity. So give a round of applause to him. So I think his speech not from ChatGPT. He knows the stuff. So bidang actuary bukan, saya sebut tadi ya, bukan sekadar berkaitan insurans atau pengiraan statistik tradisional. Ia adalah disiplin yang menyokong pengurusan risiko dalam konteks yang jauh lebih luas. Antaranya ialah penilaian impak perubahan iklim, pembangunan sistem insurans ataupun pension yang mampan dan sokongan kepada agenda seperti Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs. Bagi Malaysia, kerangka dasar pendidikan tinggi kita seperti yang digariskan dalam pelbagai dokumen strategik menekankan akses, kualiti, kesaksamaan dan kecekapan. Sebagai contoh, dalam pembentangan dasar dan kenyataan rasmi, digariskan bahawa sektor pendidikan tinggi mesti mampu menjawab kehendak pembangunan negara, transformasi digital dan penghasilan modal insan yang bermutu. I think I should correct myself. It's not actuarial science but statistic. He is a statistician. Datuk Dr. KSU, Datuk Dr. Anisi. By the way, actuarial science statistics they are brothers and sisters, isn't it? So sebagai penggerak utama modal insan negara, program yang menawarkan bidang niche seperti actuary perlu terus diperhalusi agar graduan bukan hanya boleh bekerja tetapi boleh memimpin, menyumbang kepada inovasi dan mempunyai daya saing global. Saudara dan saudari sekalian, salah satu penanda utama kecemerlangan pendidikan tinggi adalah sejauh mana institusi kita menjalinkan kerjasama strategik dengan badan profesional antarabangsa dan industri. APU telah melakukan langkah yang tepat melalui kerjasama dengan IFOA, satu badan profesional rujukan dunia dalam bidang actuary. Berikan tepukan. Ini memastikan program-program APU kekal relevan dengan pembangunan terkini dalam industri actuary global sekaligus mempersiapkan graduan untuk cabaran global. Saya menegaskan bahawa Kementerian melihat dengan amat serius peranan kerjasama industri akademia. Integrasi ini bukan hanya akademik tetapi juga praktikal, latihan industri, projek bersama, penyelidikan aplikasi dan pembelajaran sepanjang hayat. Institusi pengajian tinggi hendaklah proaktif dalam memperkukuh hubungan dengan rakan industri, badan profesional dan antarabangsa agar kurikulum, pedagogi dan pengalaman pelajar terus berada di hadapan. Sedikit lagi. Kepada para industri yang hadir pagi ini, saya merakamkan terima kasih kerana sudi menyokong program sebegini. Kerjasama anda adalah pelaburan dalam bakat Malaysia. Bersama-sama kita membina ekosistem yang menghubungkan universiti, badan profesional dan pasaran kerja dengan lebih erat. Berikan tepukan yang gemuruh kepada para penggiat industri actuary dan insurans kita. Saudara dan saudari sekalian, kita sekarang berada di persimpangan geopolitik, teknologi dan sosial, perubahan iklim yang memerlukan kita menilai dan mengurus risiko baharu. Digitalization, easier to say it in English, mempercepatkan perubahan cara kerja, serta globalisasi memperluas skop persaingan dan kerjasama. Profession actuary secara khusus mesti bersedia menjadi pemangkin transformasi dalam konteks ini. Untuk Malaysia, pelbagai strategi telah dan sedang dilaksanakan untuk memastikan pendidikan tinggi dan penghasilan bakat dapat menyokong hasrat negara menjadi negara berpendapatan tinggi dan berdaya saing. Sebagai contoh, tanggungjawab menyediakan tenaga kerja mahir dalam STEM, data analytics, teknologi digital dan bidang yang unik seperti actuary merupakan sebahagian daripada landasan pembangunan. Pada masa yang sama, cabaran seperti jurang kemahiran, perubahan permintaan industri dan keperluan pembelajaran sepanjang hayat bukan boleh dipandang ringan. Pelajar-pelajar kita, saya ingin menyuruh anda semua supaya berani melangkah keluar dari zon selesa, comfortable zone. Gunakan setiap peluang seperti sidang ini untuk berfikir lebih jauh, bertanya lebih dalam dan membina jaringan profesional dengan tokoh industri dan rakan sejawat. Anda harus melihat bidang actuary bukan sekadar kerjaya pilihan, tetapi sebahagian peluang sebenar untuk memainkan peranan dalam menyelesaikan isu besar, dari pelan pencen yang mampan, insurans mikro untuk komuniti terpinggir, hingga kepada pengukuran risiko bencana alam dan perubahan iklim. Jadilah generasi actuary yang bukan hanya mengira risiko, tetapi mengurus masa depan manusia dengan nilai kemanusiaan. Saudara dan saudari sekalian, saya dah kata tadi sedikit saja lagi kan? Okay. Sebagai Ketua Setiausaha Kementerian Pendidikan Tinggi, saya ingin menegaskan bahawa Kementerian Pendidikan Tinggi komited untuk terus menyokong inisiatif seperti this summit. Kami melihatnya sebagai pelaburan dalam kualiti pendidikan profesionalisme dan pembangunan bakat. Kementerian akan terus memantau dan menyokong peningkatan program-program yang menawarkan profil niche seperti actuary agar ia mendapat pengiktirafan yang sewajarnya dan graduan kita mempunyai peluang kerjaya yang setanding di peringkat antarabangsa. Kami juga menyeru agar institusi pengajian tinggi, badan profesional dan industri terus memperkokoh rangkaian dan kerjasama untuk meningkatkan keberkesanan latihan dan kebolehpasaran graduan. Pelajar dan akademik, saya mengajak anda semua supaya mengambil kesempatan daripada summit ini. Bangunkanlah rangkaian anda, gandakan pengetahuan anda, kajilah persimpangan di antara actuary, data, teknologi dan kelestarian, dan siapkan diri anda untuk memainkan peranan yang lebih besar dalam membina negara, bukan hanya esok hari ini, tetapi pada masa hadapan. Saya juga ingin merakamkan setinggi-tinggi tahniah dan penghargaan kepada APU atas segala pencapaian cemerlang dalam bidang sains actuary, termasuk pengiktirafan antarabangsa yang diterima dan kejayaan membina hubungan yang sangat bermakna dengan Persatuan Insurans Am Malaysia, PIAM, yang mewakili industri insurans negara. Berikan tepukan kepada PIAM dan juga APU. Akhirnya, dengan lafaz Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, saya dengan rendah diri dan sukacitanya merasmikan the Actuarial Summit 2025, Advancing Actuarial Excellence for a Sustainable Future di Asia Pacific University of Technology and Innovation. Semoga majlis ini menjadi platform yang memberi inspirasi, memupuk kerjasama dan memacu kecemerlangan dalam bidang actuary dan pendidikan kita. Sekian, terima kasih dan selamat menjalani program ini. Terima kasih.
Thank you, Yang Berusaha Doctor. Yang Berusaha Doctor, please remain on the stage for the next session. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we now come to a significant moment in today's proceedings, the official exchange of the Memorandum of Understanding between the Asia Pacific University of Technology and Innovation and the Persatuan Insurans Am Malaysia. We are honored to invite the following distinguished representatives to the stage. Mr. Chua Kim Soon, CEO of Persatuan Insurans Am Malaysia. Professor Dr. Ho Chin Kwan, Vice Chancellor of APU. Mr. Ng Kok Keng, Chairman of Persatuan Insurans Am Malaysia, accompanied by Associate Professor Dr. Raja Sigran, to join Yang Berusaha Doctor on the stage for this session. Let's give them a round of applause.
This agreement symbolizes the commitment and partnership between APU and PIAM in developing future-ready actuarial professionals. We now request Yang Berusaha Doctor and Mr. Chua to witness the MOU exchange. At the same time, we invite Professor Ho and Mr. Ng to initiate the exchange of the MOU. Give a round of applause. Now, Professor Ho and Mr. Chua kindly present the token of appreciation. Please join me for a round of applause.
Now we invite Yang Berusaha Doctor, Mr. Ng, Mr. Chua, and Professor Ho for a group photograph. Thank you, Yang Berusaha Doctor, Mr. Ng, Mr. Chua, and Professor Ho for your presence. We look forward to our future collaborations. Yang Berusaha Doctor and Professor Ho, please remain on the stage for our next session, which is the Industry Appreciation Award.
Honorables, ladies and gentlemen, the Industrial Appreciation Award honors organizations and industries that have demonstrated ongoing support and commitment in nurturing actuarial talent through collaborations that inspire young actuaries to excel in the future.
We would like to invite the representatives of the awarded companies to come forward to receive the Industrial Appreciation Award. We would also like to invite Ms. Prishni to the stage.
Please give a round of applause. Thank you.
Now we would like to invite Ms. Leong Soo Yeon, Chief Executive Officer, Ethical Life Insurance Berhad.
Let's give a round of applause. Next, we would like to invite Mr. Said Hamadah, Senior Partner, Actuarial Partners Consulting. Sorry, the guest couldn't join us today, so we move on.
Moving on, we have Ms. Sharmini Parampalam, Senior Vice President and Group Chief Financial Officer, MNRB Holdings Berhad.
Ms. Sharmini. Next, we would like to invite Mr. Patrick Chia, President and Chief Executive Officer, Malaysian Life Reinsurance. For your information, last few months, we have an online resume workshop with MLRE, APU Actuarial Science Club, and it was really great to be working with MLRE, Ms. Karen and Mr. Patrick Chia. Thank you.
Finally, we have Mr. Gary Hu, Chief Executive Officer, AIA General Berhad. Now, we would like to invite all our distinguished guests and award recipients for a photo session. Please join me in giving them a well-deserved round of applause.
We kindly invite award recipients to return to your seats. Yang Berusaha Dr. and Professor Ho, we kindly request that you remain on the stage as we proceed to the final segment. Seterusnya, majlis diteruskan lagi dengan sesi penyampaian penghargaan kepada Kementerian Pendidikan Tinggi Malaysia. Bagi pihak APU dan PIAM, kami mengucapkan setinggi-tinggi penghargaan terima kasih kepada Yang Berusaha Doktor atas sokongan dan komitmen berterusan terhadap kemajuan pendidikan, inovasi dan pembangunan aktuari di Malaysia. Dengan ini, majlis dengan segala hormatnya mempersilakan Yang dihormati Profesor Ho untuk mencapai plak penghargaan kepada Yang Berusaha Doktor. Seterusnya, majlis dengan segala hormatnya menjemput Mr. Eng untuk ke pentas bagi penyampaian penghargaan kepada yang berbahagia Doktor. Dipersilakan. Sila berikan tepukan gemuruh.
Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in expressing our sincerest appreciation to the Minister of Higher Education Malaysia with another round of applause. Now we would like to invite Yang Berusaha Doctor and our honorable guest, accompanied by Professor Ho, to the holding room. Audience members, please remain seated. I think, wait. With that, this concludes our opening ceremony for the Actuarial Summit 2025. Once again, we would like to extend our heartfelt gratitude to all distinguished guests and attendees for your support throughout this morning's session. Now, I'm sure you're all excited for what's next, but before that, we will take a short break to freshen up and indulge in some refreshments located just outside of this auditorium.
With that, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be resuming our program at 10:30 a.m. So don't go too far. We've got more exciting sessions ahead that you definitely don't want to miss out. Thank you and enjoy your break.
Check, check. Mic check, mic check. Check, check, check. Check, check.
everyone. Hello. The next part of our program is about to begin, packed with more inspiring sessions, engaging discussions, and a few surprises along the way. So please take your seats, settle in comfortably, and let's continue our exciting journey together here at the Actuarial Summit 2025.
Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to remind you all to please silence your mobile phones so we can ensure that the event goes on smoothly, and we'll be beginning our event shortly. You know what? Just start first. Just start.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back. We hope you all had an enjoyable break, grabbed a coffee, stretched your legs, and hopefully got to connect with those present here today. Now, you might have noticed if you were in the morning session that my MC partner looks a little different from this morning. Well, you know what they say, you're not you when you're hungry. All jokes aside, let's see who we have here.
That's right, my friends. The post-break version comes with a new face. I'm Smaran Datta, and alongside Michelle, we'll be
Your MCs for this next segment.
Exciting segment of the summit. Refresh, recharge, and ready to roll. And what better time to reintroduce our summit's theme, Advancing Actuarial Excellence. It's a theme that challenges us to think beyond the numbers, to step into the boardroom, to lead with vision, and to make decisions that drive real-world impact.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our C-suite panel discussion. Today, we would like to invite Mr. Patrick Chia, President and CEO of Malaysian Life Reinsurance Group, to the stage to take a seat on the panel. Next, please welcome Ms. Leong Soo Yearn, Chief Executive Officer, Ethical Life Insurance Berhad. And finally, we would like to invite Dato Said Hamada Said Othman, Senior Partner, Actuarial Partners Consulting. Moderating this powerful session is Professor Vinesh, known for turning complex actuarial concepts into engaging, thought-provoking conversations. The perfect guide for today's discussion. Professor Vinesh, the floor is all yours.
So, very good morning, everyone. Everyone all well fed? Ready for the next session? Right, fantastic. So, my name is Vinesh. Thank you, MCs, for introducing everyone. But I will let the panel introduce themselves in more depth as they start to speak. And I think it's best to come from their own selves, their experience and who they are and how strong they are. Because if they're not strong, they wouldn't be on the stage today. The theme of our panel discussion today is on from technical to transformational actuaries as business leaders. So what you have in front are all business leaders for sure. They are leaders in their own field, in the industry. And why we are discussing this topic today is simply because actuaries have been a game changer in many of the different sectors, primarily in banking, primarily in insurance industries, and so forth. And that whole transformation and driving the enterprise and the business, the guys behind the scene are usually actuaries. Yeah? So I'll start off with a story. So when I was in school and I moved on to university, I grew up in a neighborhood in Petaling Jaya. I'm a local boy. Yeah? And I had a friend. I will not use his real name because he's quite a prominent person in the actuaries profession. Yeah? So I'll just use the word Rahim. Right? So Rahim was my competitor. You know aunties, my mother in my local neighborhood, they will all compete whose son is better, right? So this auntie, her real name is Salma, okay? Auntie Salma's son is 1 year older than me. So he becomes the benchmark, right? So this guy was a SPM top scorer, okay? He got a scholarship. He went off to London School of Economics and he did study economics. I came back 1 year later. He came back 1 year earlier. But before I could come back, my mother already told me that Rahim, quote unquote Rahim, is now an actuary. I was, what the hell is an actuary? This is 25 years ago. I was like, what the hell is an actuary? I said, I won this race lah. He must be playing with plants and bring some botany, something like that. This race, I am menang. I am the top guy in that whole house row, Truth be told, he worked for a top bank in Malaysia, cannot be told as well. And after 5 years of working, he went off to Hong Kong to work for a top bank in Hong Kong. That one you can guess which bank. And he was there for 15 to almost 16 years. And I was wondering, what is this guy doing and how he could propel himself to be working in Hong Kong for the top bank in Hong Kong, and that too for 16 years. And when I met him, he told me his key expertise is statistical modeling. And he took that top bank in Hong Kong. In 1 year, he drove up the outcome for one of the new products they were trying to push out by 13%. And they put this garland of cash over his neck. And that's why he kept on staying in Hong Kong. He's back now in Malaysia. And he's doing consultancy for the insurance industry and many other industries as well. But that made me think that the actual science program, qualification, and also the profession as an actuarist is something that is very fulfilling. So when I was working abroad after that, I used to call him. I said, bro, can you help me? I'm doing some statistical modeling as well. And he used to teach me how to do statistical modeling. So I was an engineer that started to learn statistical modeling from him. And one of my outcomes, thanks to him, is Ras Al Khaimah, is an emirate in the United Arab Emirates. They were doing a forecast of economic growth for the emirate we had to do a 7 to 10 year forecast, and he helped me do the entire statistical modeling. And those days we used spreadsheets. No software, no R, no Python, no nothing. No snakes. Yeah? We only use spreadsheets, and I got the outcome approved by the RAK government, thanks to him. And that is where you see precision statistical modeling outcomes are where actual scientists come into play. And today with this panel, they are the business leaders who actually been using actuaries in driving your own industries. So actuaries are well positioned, yeah, to become leaders, definitely, especially in risk-centric industries, such as the insurance, but also strategically developing skills beyond the traditional technical expertise to be effective. So having said that, I'm going to go to the first speaker. As a turning point, what is defining the current set of actuaries, right, in shifting themselves as a starting point of becoming a technical person, moving into becoming a person in a leadership role, and then having that confidence in that role because you know you're technically strong. So, Patrick, maybe you can start by introducing yourself and showing who you are and your strength you have in your whole wealth of experience, and then sharing that opinion with the
Sure.
crowd. Yeah.
Thanks, Dr. Vinesh. So, I'm Patrick. Let's see, when did I graduate? 1997, that would be about 28 years ago. That shows my age. So I'm a UK qualified actuary from IFOA. I did my degree in Scotland. But I started off in the actuarial field, actually the interest of actuarial field when I was very young. So I had a advantage like Dr. Vinesh. I had a family friend who's actually a qualified actuary, and he's the one who actually persuaded me to do the degree. But 28 years ago, I started off, as a technical actuary, doing a lot of modeling, doing a lot of valuation work. Eventually branched out to product and pricing. Then out of nowhere, I had a CEO who told me, "Why don't you try marketing?" So I took a challenge. I moved on to marketing role. This is in addition to being the appointed actuary as well as the CFO. So I was doing like 3-man's job, okay? But subsequently as well, I was offered a job in a bank. Don't ask me why I decided to go to the bank, but I wanted a different challenge. It's nice to get your hands dirty on different things and learn something different. So I went to a local bank, but primarily still in charge of insurance products in the bank. I thought that was my role, right? Because being a technical specialist and insurance expert, you'll be definitely very comfortable dealing with insurance products. But somehow I had to manage 210 insurance specialists in a branch. So I had to learn the sales language after that. Now, I'm not a qualified salesperson, but eventually, good thing about being an actuary, we all have to think very logically, right? It's all part and parcel of our training. We are logical thinkers. We try to use our professional judgment and then how to use that logic to solve solutions, right, problems. And that actually helped in my role in the bank. But over time, I think the bank also felt I was overqualified. Again, being an actuary, they felt maybe should be someone different in that role. And then I had a chance to go into a general insurance company. So I started off in life insurance. I went to the bank. Then I went to general insurance. Subsequently, then after I went to a sovereign fund. So I was employed by Khazanah at one point in time. And I became a consultant. So I was actual practice leader for PwC. And now I'm in a reinsurer. So I'm sure you all know what reinsurer is, right? So reinsurer is basically the insurance company's insurance company. So it's kind of a fulfilling role, having done all kinds of function, all kinds of C-suite, and here I am now.
Oh, fantastic. I think you've got that journey all mapped up for all the young ones out there. He's like a total actuaries. I consider that a big thing because you spend your entire journey not for job hopping, but to actually capture the experience And I think you've got the end-to-end spectrum. Thank you, Patrick. Now, I think 80% of the crowd are all students. They have this biggest fear in life. It's not cockroaches. The biggest fear in life for them is exams. They have this myth. The myth is all about exams, and they think that exams are the end goal. Actually, it is not. And with us today, we have Datuk Syed Hamada, who is going to share with us that exams are not the only thing you should be concerned about, because there's more to exams. Datuk Syed.
Thank you, Professor Vinesh. Let me just introduce myself first, Prof. I was a kampung boy from Muar Johor. I never knew about this actuarial science until I actually stepped my foot in Scotland as well, Patrick. I think we went to the same university, perhaps, So I was, at that point of time, I only knew, or rather my father then was actually either you become accountant, lawyer, engineer, or architect. So never knew about this actuarial mambo jumbo. So when I was, doing my pre-university course in Scotland, I went to see my counsellor and said I didn't like accountancy. So I'm keen, my strength is in mathematics, in logics. So he immediately pointed me to the right direction, actuarial science. I did my reading. At that point of time, there is no Google, there is no internet. So I went to the library, I got to know what is this. So the first thing that I was told that actuarial pays you big money. Actuaries, being an actuary pays you big money. To be honest with you, when after graduation is not really a big money, it's just the same as other occupation as well. So then I switched, from accountancy. I haven't, it was actually during the A-level time. So when I applied for the course, I applied for all actuarial science course. And I got enrolled to Heraud University, Edinburgh, spent 4 years there, and qualified many years later. But I have to tell you, Professor Vinesh, you reminded me of something. When I was in Scotland, I was staying at, I was visiting, they call it warden, Malaysian warden. So during that visit, there is a senator from Malaysia that came and asked me, what do you do? I said, I'm doing actuarial science as an actuary. The answer, or rather the perception that he had, is exactly the same as what you mentioned just now. Something to do with fish or with botanical garden or something like that. I don't care, I don't mind. I said that, I don't dare to explain. He's a senator. I don't remember his name anyway. So that was true. Okay. Now, go back to the question. Betul. Exams or being an actuary or getting a degree in actuarial science is just a ticket for you to go into the next journey in your life. So exams are just like a license to play, okay? And it is not a final goal or final trophy by itself. But it is very important to complete the degree. I always tell this to my children, and in fact, 2 of my children, I got 4. 2 of them, the eldest 2, they actually follow my footsteps. They do actuarial science, right? But I told them that this is just a ticket for you. You don't have to be an actuary. You can venture into other things. You can also do psychology or philosophy or geology, if you like, during your university course. But anyway, they chose to do actuarial science, and one of them is working in a consulting firm. Another one is working at Khazanah as in risk management practice. Again, there is more to your exams. There is more to your degree. But very important, you guys, you have to have a good degree. Study hard, make sure that you get this degree, and for those who are going into the technical route, get the qualification as high as possible. The best is fellow, right? But I think before fellow, you have associateship, you have certified in risk management. Get one of those. And what you need more to learn is to become a leader is a lot more than mathematics and statistics. You have to be a good influencer, you have to be a very powerful communicator, right? And you have to be, most important of all, I mean, Patrick and Suyen would agree with me, you have to be a strategist. You have to think like a strategist. right? So this is beyond mathematics. You know, as a technician, when I was doing consulting analyst, or when I was a consulting analyst, precision, accuracy is my top goal, right? But when I became a leader as a CEO of Kumpulan Wang Persaraan (KWAP), as well as a CEO of Tabung Haji, those numbers are just tools. But we need to apply our judgment. We need to communicate with our stakeholders what is best. So my last take on this is that yes, beyond this, try to actually get to sharpen up your skills of to communicate, being a good communicator, think strategically, as well as what I call it, sharpen your soft skills with people around you. Thank you.
Thank you. What are the chances of having two people from Edinburgh, ex-Scotsmen, on stage? Lucky they didn't wear a skirt, you know, the kilt. Yeah, that will be exciting for this morning. Anyway, thank you, Dato. Now we move on. Precision actuarial outcomes, right, are very important in decision making. Yeah, you take care of risk factors, you navigate through the challenges and come up with decision making based on data. And you know, this is a true outcome of great leaders in this industry. And we have one. She's the rose among all the thorns on stage. Yeah, Leong Suyen. As a CEO, how do you balance the role of being a leader and put in the human factor into the new actuaries that are coming into the industry, and having that inspiring and mentoring and sort of softening their entry point and getting them on their path to becoming the next set of leaders? Over to you, Suyin.
Thank you, Dr. Vinesh. Good morning, students. Yeah, so I am a new lady CEO, as what was introduced by Dr. Vinesh. So throughout my 23 years of career life, the first 20 years, I was a technical pricing actuary. And talking about numbers, about precision for over 20 years, and then I decided to move on to become something else. So what is that something else? So when my direct boss approached me for a better opportunity, he is actually having some plans for me to be a leader of a bigger organizations. So this something else, before I get into it, similar to all other actuarial students, I have fear because we always deal with numbers. Numbers is always about black or white, about formula, about wrong or correct. Do you agree with me? Yeah, there is no 1 + 1 = 3, right? But then, when it comes to leadership and humans, it's very different. You will never get the right answer. Why? Because every human is unique. Everyone has own personality and own motivations. So as a leader, we are actually here to balance between IQ, I believe all of you are very high in IQ, and EQ. So EQ is something that we have to build as well. It doesn't born naturally. So what are the strategies that we need to have to pick up, to grow our EQ? Basically, is learn how to listen deeply. So a lot of time, people don't really expect us to respond. They are actually just want someone to listen, to understand. So deeply listening is actually a very, very difficult skill set. Because as an actuaries, we like to set assumptions, we like to model, we like to analyze, and we like to come up the outcome with projection, correct? But we cannot project human. So we have to learn to have empathy, to be an energy giver, and also I think one of the most important elements is to be authentic. Yeah, that's my sharing.
Thank you, Suyan. I think with that tone, right, the stage vibrated a bit, and now I'm inspired. Yeah? Thank you, Suyen. You see, the actuary, it is not a registered title, like an engineer or a doctor. Am I correct? I'm correct, huh? I hope I am. So, when you don't have that registered title, at times, right, when you go and try to communicate, who are they referring to? You know? When a doctor says you need to take this medication, you trust him, even though now we have digital applications that can also counter him or her. But when an actuary says that this is the data and this is what we have to do in terms of the decisions to be taken, how do we come to the table? How do we do influencing and the right communications, especially at board level, at leadership level? Now, Patrick, you went through the whole spectrum. You must have had these challenges. How do you move your way through this kind of challenges in the communication front as a leader?
Okay, so maybe a good thing of doing the UK exams, one of the papers was communication paper. Effectively is you have to explain all the technical things in very layman language. So it's meant to be explaining your logical thought to a man in the streets. Now that helps because, I deal with many board members, and not all of them are technically skilled, okay? Some are lawyers, some are business people, some are even agents, right? Salespeople. So definitely they bring different spectrum to the room, but eventually is trying to explain your logical school of thought to them in a very simple way so that they can understand. It takes practice. I don't deny that. You will definitely fumble a lot. But eventually, as you gather more experience and you talk to them more often, they will start to understand what you're trying to say. So that's my advice. You have to keep trying, keep practicing. Then you have to start understanding. You cannot bring all these technical words into the equation. I give an example. Even mortality is considered a technical word. Right. So you have to think how to explain mortality to even to your father, your mother. Then you can figure out how to communicate well with other people.
Right. I think mortality, that's a key word. Please note that down. Mortality is something they use all the time, even at home. Now, I think where you're coming from is numbers speak 1,000 words. And I think numbers today are a great driver in decision making, especially with the smartphones and a lot of applications out there. They actually give you numbers. Now, how do you bring in the actual mindset, that actual thinking? You know, design thinking, when you start designing a new product, you have that design thinking, that empathy, and all kinds of technology that you want to adopt and adapt. But as an actuarial leader, how do you bring in that mindset? So now I take it one step forward with Dato' Syed. Patrick is speaking to a board who are all, say, for example, not from the actual background. So they look at numbers, they understand, they sort of conceive. But if you're talking to another actuaries as a leader, how do you do that? How do you convince? How do you help in driving the decision making? Dato' Syed.
Yeah. Thank you, Prof. So I take it as, as a technician, as an analyst, spend a good 10 to 15 years. I heard just now Suyen spent about 12 years, 20 years, doing technical roles. So as an actuaries doing technical calculations, your focus is about finding the best answer or the right answer. Finding the right answer. Right? But the moment you move to a bigger role as a leader, you use that best answer to navigate the best path. Yeah? So if you can think about that analogy, I'll give you another analogy. As an technical actuary, you can be like a master cartographer who draws very accurate maps. But then, as a leader, You have to be an expedition leader to use that accurate maps, to use that maps in order to navigate through the many paths going forward. Okay? So if I were to take the questions just now, if I were to talk to another actuary who is at the, a young actuary to become, who aspire to become the next leader, then I would, say, as an example, Prof, as an example, when you are as an actuary, appointed actuary or whatsoever, when you talk to the stakeholders, you focus on what? Right? You focus on what? Okay, this is the answer. This is the answer to the problem. What? But if as a leader, you need to go beyond that. You just need to, so what? So what? What are we going to do with that accurate answer of yours? Right? Another example, let's say it comes out, the pricing actuary says that the price of a life insurance, the premium for this particular product is, let's say, 120 ringgit per month. All right? But as a leader, you take it as a guide and you decide based on your judgment, assessing the impact and the actions that you decide it may be, may not be right to charge at 120, maybe we can go at 115 or 110. So that is the leader, all right? To make a decision based on judgment, impact, and action, as opposed to a technician or a pricing actuary or whatever. So again, it's not about the best answer. It's good, but it's also about finding the best path for the organization that you lead, in order to achieve or to sustain your goals. That's it, Prof. Thank you.
Fantastic. I think you hit it right on the nail. You're not thinking about the business element alone, but you're thinking very holistically. As a leader, you think about the organization. And it's not about one product, it is about the organization, the sustenance, and how you push the organization and keeping in a sustainable form so that it can be in existence and contribute continuously in the coming years forward. Thank you, Dr. Said. Now, the most abused word in 2025 is just two letters. It's called AI, right? Everyone says AI. You guys all use AI in the form of generative AI, ChatGPT, and all that. Yeah. But along with AI, there are a lot of things that are happening in the world nowadays. Climate change is one. Geopolitics is another thing, right? And these all impacts to a lot of enterprises, a lot of products within the segments of finance and banking, within the segments of insurance. They all of a sudden become transformed. And how does this technological impact have an effect on the profession of an actuaries? Suyen.
So, like what Dr. Vinesh has just mentioned, AI actually play a very important role nowadays, as in like all of us, we shouldn't reject, we should just adopt, and then how does it impact the moving forward? So just now we talk about AI, we talk about climate change, and then we also talk about demographic shifting, right? So demographic shifting is more of like the aging populations. And then climate change, we do see like the flood is like happening more often, and then we have landslide and everything. So how does we relate this back to our actuarial skill? As an actuaries, we do being equipped by analytic skills. And our ability is more of like in analysis, in predicting, and also in managing the uncertainty. I have never seen actuaries as just being a risk manager. We should be a future business shaper. We shape the future. Because of our analytic skills, because of our ability to predict and how to manage the risk, then it actually helped us to come up with a lot of different solutions. So what are those solutions that I'm talking about? It's like some products that related to ESG, to the environment, sustainable products for like example like solar coverage, solar panel coverage, and then example like to include flood into most of our motor insurance or in our fire insurance, and then also for life insurance, then we have like increasing medical risks and so on. These are all the things that we have to cater, right? So how do we change these so-called the threats become opportunity? This is what an actuaries should be exploring the opportunities beyond. Yeah.
Fantastic. This was definitely something everyone thought about in 2020, isn't it? Taking a threat, COVID-19, and how to change it into an opportunity. A lot of people were very concerned on a day-to-day basis, but at that point in time, I'm sure the actuaries were thinking of how we can actually convert this threat, mitigate the risk, put all the risk factors on the table, study them, analyze them, and then put in something which can actually drive a business as a product. Now, rapid fire for the three of y'all. I want to see whether you can handle my rapid fire. Boleh? Boleh lah, I think. I don't know how much time do I have. Do I have good time? Just to check on timing. Oh, very good time. That means I can keep on talking. Very good. Okay. Now, how do you prepare for the unknown, right? And why wait for something to happen when you can do a prediction that you can envisage, you can forecast for the future? Now, as a rapid fire, right? I'm going to start with Patrick. What do you think is something that these people out here, all these students, all these young ones, these talents, upcoming talents, is something they should ponder upon as something that would not be seen today, but something they can start to ponder upon so that they can start having that mindset and that thought process for the coming future? Because they're all going to graduate soon, and they're all very hungry. Not now lah, because they just ate, but soon they'll be very hungry. Yeah, Patrick, over to you.
I mean, if you look at it traditionally, we actuaries, we do a lot of stress testing, we do a lot of scenario analysis. Even the scenarios that you may think of, a 1 in 200 event, 1 in 50-year event, 1 in 100-year event, is actually shortened, right? I mean, 20 years ago, you look at SARS, and then you have COVID. So supposedly, that's supposed to be a 1 in 200 event, 200-year event. It's actually 1 in 20-year event. So naturally, you do a lot of stress, a lot of scenarios, and you just get prepared based on your testing, your projections, what's the outcome that can come out, right? And like it or not, then you have to use your actual judgment, how to use that answers to prepare yourself and the organization that you work for. So definitely keep yourself updated what's happening. Keep yourself in your toes, always prepared, and never stop questioning. I think that's the main thing, right? Because you just have to be ready. Anything can happen. I could give an example. Like this year, you would think a lot of geopolitical risks, a lot of potential wars coming out. But surprisingly, stock market is at a record high. Fixed income, surprising, is very good. But it's a surprising outcome, right? You would think it's bad news all the way, but it's quite good in one side of the equation. So how do you prepare for that? So these are things you just have to go through a lot of analysis, and say, okay, if this thing happened, this would be an action that I can take. If that thing happened, there can be another action to take. Do multiple scenarios. You can have different kind of actions you can take and go from there.
I like that. I like the way you said you have to question everything. So what you read, what you see on TV, what you see on social media, you must question it. And question it positively to how, when, what, which, things like that. Dato' Syed.
I would like to take that question by relaying some experience that I had, Let me start by saying that, we know as an actuary or as actuaries, whether you're specializing in insurance, takaful, and in my case, in pensions and social security, we know the answers, right? But as I mentioned it just now, we know the right answer or the right solution for this problem is A, for example. But we have to, or rather I had to actually learn that it's not always easy to implement the right answer. Okay, so when I took the job as the CEO of Pension Trust Fund, QAP, one of the mandates is to actually manage the pension liability of the government. Because as you know, QAP, or rather the government pension liability, they're paying about 30 billion ringgit a year pensions to pensioners of the civil servants. All right, and these numbers keep on going. All right. So what is the solution? We know from the UK experience, from the Australia experience, how did they do it? You know, but when I was trying to actually implement the changes, it was not, even though I know it's the right answer, but it was not as easy as it can, as I could have done, because of a lot of other challenges. You know, this is where I'm going to actually spend maybe 1 minute, 2 minutes. As a leader, be humble, because you are going to face a lot of challenges in terms of managing your stakeholders. Who are the stakeholders? If you are in a big organization, your people is your stakeholder. Your staff, your shareholders, your investors. In the case when I was QAP, my stakeholders was the Ministry of Finance or the government, and also the entire civil servants, right, who actually are beneficiaries of the pension fund, of the pension system. So it's not easy to actually manage the mandate that you have, unless you go to the ground, you're being humble and you talk to them and see whether you can strike the balance between what is right and what should be done for the better of the nation. That's all, Prof. Thank you.
Thank you, Dato. I think the key point there was stakeholder engagement. I think as an actuarist, you're not dealing with just one person. You have to take into consideration the entire community of stakeholders, because everyone that has a stake will have an interest in the outcome that you are going to present or showcase. Suyan, what is your view in terms of challenges to be faced, something of actions for the coming future for these talents out there?
Okay, I want to share a little bit my own journey. I think a lot of you could be like struggles with exams and so on, right? I just want to share, I actually came along all the way without exemptions in any paper. I'm not a IFOA fellow, I'm actually a SOA fellow. But there is no exemptions being granted, unfortunately. And then I also came across the period where I have self-doubt. If I feel like more than one time, oh, am I going to be able to do this again? And then, but all these are actually normal. Why I say normal? Because my passions towards my career, towards what I'm doing, actually overcome all this. To me, is sub-sub-soy. This is not important, because to me, the end goal is bigger than everything. That's why I think setting your goal very clearly, and then not to be fearful, just stay positive and have a very strong belief you can make it, you can definitely be there one day. The belief is very important. Yeah. So dare to take up challenges.
Believe. That's the key word which I heard just now. Believe in yourself, believe in your profession, believe in the course you're studying that can fulfill your dreams. Yeah? We've almost come to the end, and I want to give you another example of another friend I had. Okay? Mesti ada kawan. Tanpa kawan, you cannot move on in life. You must have teman and kawan, and if you have a chance, you have girlfriend, boyfriend also. Okay? So this other kawan of mine, when we applied for universities, he got mathematics. Gone lah. You know why? We already told him, you will end up becoming a cikgu. He became a cikgu. He became a cikgu. And we were all laughing at him. Because you know why? We just told him that I hope you don't teach my own kids. Yeah? But then he became a cikgu. But after 6 years of becoming a cikgu, he actually applied and joined a company because they wanted a person who could crunch numbers. And that mathematical background, then later he took up some certification in computational skills. He became an actuaries. That was way back then. So as we were laughing with him, later on he was paying for all the meals. Right? Wonderful, isn't it? So in this world of technology, as we are moving into a world whereby data is rapidly impacting a lot of things that we do. So the actuaries are the best people to play with these numbers. They mitigate the risks, they put the risk factors on the table, they number crunch, they put reliance onto the numbers to showcase what we can do in terms of a product which goes into the market and how it can penetrate the market and how it can sustain itself with the returns. And this is what the actuaries does and how they can actually be very prominent in any organization. But of course today, the prominent industries that they practice or sell their profession in is always in the insurance and banking and finance industries. But we see adoption in other industries as well. Ladies and gentlemen, young people out there, take pride in your profession because you are going to be a top actuaries in the coming years. Yeah? And thank you, Mr. Patrick, Dato' Syed Hamada, Miss Leong Sufen, for being here this morning. I'm humbled to be among you all. I'm not a SOA member. I'm not an IFOA member. I'm a fellow of IMECI. You Google and find out what IMECI is. Yeah? It was a pleasure being on stage with you. It's a pleasure on behalf of APU having you on campus. You are big guns. This morning I was telling my colleagues, I did not know they were big guns. They only told me the name. But they are big guns. And for them to share their wealth, knowledge with all of you all, please give them a round of applause. And as such, we have come to the end of the panel session. I pass it on back to the MC, the two wonderful MCs here. Over back to you. Oh, yeah. The Q&A, right? Q&A. Okay. Sorry, belum habis. The fat lady has not sung yet. So, now we have a Q&A. Please use this opportunity to ask these three wonderful professionals we have on stage, industry leaders, any questions you want. Don't ask them about mathematics. Don't ask them about IFOA. Don't ask them about SOA. Ask them something within the profession. Please, anyone, open floor for questions. Yes.
Actually, depends on your aspiration, right? So work experience is definitely very important. If you ask all CEOs here, we definitely value work experience. But eventually, having a title behind your name is equally important. I'm sorry to say this, but the title behind my name gave me license to bullshit. So nobody can say I'm wrong, even though my answer and your answer different. Okay? But both side equation correct, but in the end, it's your own personal aspiration. It was my own personal aspiration to have that title behind my name. So I went all out. So eventually, you have to decide. your career path, what you want to be at the end. If your inspiration is to be a appointed actuary, then definitely you need that title. If your aspiration is just to be something different like product manager, you may not need that title. So really, it's really what you want to be.
Dato' Syed, you want to add on to that?
Yeah, much like what I said just now, I think it's very important that you pursue your professional qualifications for those who can. I know this is a very difficult thing to do. Satu, financials. Secondly is time commitment. And the third one is, of course, the difficulties of the exams. So if you are in the right organizations where they do sponsor your exams, by all means take the exams. Even if you cannot achieve to the highest level, but as I understand it, there are intermediate levels as well that would be very good. For those who, as students, some are very brilliant, some are, just good enough. Don't be disheartened. All right, don't be disheartened. Can I ask you how many actuaries are CEOs of banking industry, manufacturing industry? I've not heard of any. All right, adalah satu dua, kan? But of course, the insurance of takaful companies, the CEOs of takaful companies, insurance companies, many of them coming from the actuarial background. Okay. So what I'm trying to say is that it is not the end of everything. All right. So do your best, do your exams, register with institute and faculty of actuaries or the other professional bodies to do your exams. But if you can't go to the highest level, you can stop at the middle level. You still have some sort of experience. Along the way, you gain your experience. Betul? You work and try when you join an organization, try to follow the Patrick path. Right?
That's a new thing we just defined today. We have to patent this. It's called the Patrick path.
What I'm trying to say is diversify lah. He does marketing, underwriting, claims. If you are in the insurance industry lah. In my case, I've always been in either oil and gas. I started my career in Petronas, and then I joined a consulting firm and did all these technical calculations until I become the CEO of Co-op. So again, do your exams as much as possible. And gain experience as well along the way. Okay, thank you.
If I may add on, yeah. So I want to say, actuarial students, you are so lucky. Which other occupations that pay you increment when you pass an exam? Nothing else other than actuarial. Yeah. So of course I will motivate and encourage you to keep going on all the way. Why? Because actuarial studies are not just about qualifications. It's actually the tools, the weapon to equip you to go to the war. So work experience is not like totally not the only thing that you have to fulfill, because actuarial knowledge is so wide. Only through the 3 or 4 years of university life is not sufficient. There's so many things you need to know. So take it as a learning opportunities. Always be welcome to more learnings, and then stay curious. I think this is really something very structured and very already like properly organized for you, properly planned for you. So just go ahead.
Just to add, because we come from industry, and I'm not just coming from the insurance industry, I'm also in the fund management industry, and I tell you what, they value actuarial graduates. They do look up on the actuarial graduates, the HR lah, the organization itself. Okay, so yeah, move on.
I'll just add one layman value lah. Yeah, layman as a non-actuaries. When you take professional certification, which I have in my profession, when someone comes up to you and tries to question you, they cannot, because all you have to say is don't play. You see? Because you got the credentials. Right, any more questions? Please, please.
I have two questions.
Actually, it was a topic that was brought up 2 days ago in ASM SOA conference. The answer is no. You should actually use AI to help you. AI is not meant to take over your job. So one of the feedback that we got during the conference is you should be an actuary who is embracing AI. If you are one who is not embracing AI, potentially you can be taken over by someone else. So AI is definitely a tool, not the only solution. But we as actuaries, we have the logical understanding, and basically it's really how to use it to explain your solutions.
Anyone else want to chip in?
I totally agree with what Patrick has said. And if you use a lot of Gen AI today, you also realize sometimes the answers given to you is like flip-flop, sometimes correct, sometimes not, right? So again, we embracing AI, but I think human brains are actually the most wonderful things in this world. So what we really need to do in order to overcome the threats of AI is really to get yourself become more and more outstanding. More and more outstanding. That's why exam studying is very important, okay?
Okay. I think the gentleman at the back had a question.
I have two questions. First, what is the one challenge or opportunity you believe only actuarial minds are uniquely equipped to solve in the next decade? The second question is, what advice would you give to actuarial students preparing to enter a rapidly changing data-driven world? That's it.
Okay, maybe Dato' Said, you want to take the first question?
Dia kata next decade
Next decade.
Alamak, next decade I've already retired lah.
So he's already forecasted. He's going to retire.
Second question first. Patrick.
Okay, I think we live in a world where data is now a very nice word, big word to use. It's getting more important. In any organization, if you do not have a data analytics team, you're going to fall way behind. So it's really, again, a team that helps you provide a lot of solutions. You, as an actuary, you must know how to use it to your advantage. This is where the analytical part comes in. All right? It's easy to do the modeling. Okay, I won't use the word easy. We are technically equipped to do the modeling. We are technically equipped to churn numbers. But, the main question is how you're going to use it. And this is the difficult part. So the next decade, definitely, data science will definitely get more and more of a big word. We as actuaries, we shouldn't say, we are the specialists. We have to listen to everyone, and we have to listen to what data scientists are giving you the numbers for as well, and really embrace it and find how to use it. That's my view.
Right. There was a second question on the mindset for the to overcome challenges. Anyone?
Well,
go ahead.
Difficult to overcome challenges, but for us actuaries, I think one good thing about going through the profession and going through the exams, it does teach you to be very patient and have perseverance, right? So my one tip for people who actually start off the journey, and all of you are high IQ people. right? Now, you really have to have patience. You must really understand if your school life has been like flying with passing, you pass with flying colors. You must understand, do not get disappointed with a failure. And that mental aspect of it, you have to prepare for it, okay? Because exams are not easy. It's not as simple as the school life. And I've seen before, I really have seen before. I have friends who are flying A students. The first failure, they just mentally couldn't accept it. And they drop out, really completely drop out actual after that. So it's that perseverance, that determination, discipline in your mind. If you can do that, you can overcome any challenge actually.
Yeah, wonderful. Anyone want to add? Yep.
Yeah, if I can go back to the first questions on
Sure.
data. Yeah, I think data is so important. It's almost like more than 70-80% that the material that I use for decision making. Yeah. So in the past, when I was a technical actuary, I used data to make decision, to do pricing, and then to come up with solutions. So now I use data to see beyond, to predict the future trends. So there are more elements that to be added when we use the data for future predictions and to see beyond the current. So this is so important that we cannot ignore. And I think regardless what is your professions, whether you as an actuaries or as a data scientist, data is always part and parcel, the majority portions of your professions. And then second question is how do we handle challenges in it? I think always be prepared, because opportunity is always for people who are prepared, right? And then always stay humble, stay curious, learn, unlearn, and relearn. This is very important, because we always thought that we already know and then we don't want to know more. I think in this era, everything changes too fast. So today and tomorrow is always, you will see a difference. So always learn, unlearn, and relearn.
I like that. Learn, unlearn, relearn. Learning never ends. Dato', you want to add anything?
Just one word of advice, which I received this word of advice many years ago from my superior. Determine your own destiny. Determine your own destiny. Okay? Because the challenges going forward, once upon a time, the safest workplace, or rather, this most secured job is working with Petronas. But now, no more. Okay? So determine your own destiny. One way is go through your qualification and be perseverance, patient. Betul, saya setuju. I completely agree with what Patrick has mentioned just now. In my case, I failed 5 times pension paper application. 5 times. And I was a specialist in pension and social security. But I passed my life insurance paper 1 time only. The higher paper. So, but I persevere. And I said, I really want to be, to have that, title lah, orang kata, at the end again. So once we got that, we've been persevere, try again. Inshallah, you will overcome all those challenges. Thank you.
All right, thank you. This time, we've actually come to the end. Right? Thank you again, everyone, for attending this session this morning. A big round of applause for our panelists. And before I hand over to the MCs, next year we're going to have 3 books. First book, Patrick's Path. Quarter 1, 2026. Quarter 2, 2026. The Eye of the Actuaries Dragon by Sufen. And the last book by December, Life After Retirement by Dato' Syed. Right? Okay, over to you, MCs.
Thank you so much, Professor Vinesh, for moderating the discussion, especially for keeping it light and humorous while also taking charge of such interesting topics. It's really interesting to hear professionals going from knowing nothing about actuarial science, or actually some maybe associating actuarial science with fish, to becoming distinguished leaders here today. So, Smaran, what did you think about the session today?
I think it was simply superb. Ladies and gentlemen, please give them another big round of applause. Honestly, Michelle, what I think is this C-suite panel discussion really matched our theme, from technical to transformational, actuaries as business leaders. And the reason why I think so is because if today's panel showed us anything, it's that the future of our profession isn't written in spreadsheets. It's written by leaders who dare to innovate, inspire, and imagine beyond boundaries.
Once again, let's give our panelists a huge round of applause.
Now, to express our heartfelt appreciation, we would now like to invite Associate Professor Dr. Rajasekharan to humbly come on stage to present the tokens of appreciation to our esteemed panelists. Firstly, we would like to invite Mr. Patrick Chia, President and CEO of Malaysian Life Reinsurance Group, to receive his token of appreciation.
Thank you very much.
Please give them a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Next, please welcome Ms. Leong Su Yen, Chief Executive Officer of Etika Life Insurance Berhad.
Thank you very much for being here.
Thank you. And finally, we would like to invite Dato' Syed Hamada Syed Othman, Senior Partner of Actuarial Partners Consulting, to receive his token of appreciation. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Now, a group photo with all panelists. Brilliant. Thank you very much to all panelists and Dr. Raja. You may now all return to your seats. Ladies and gentlemen, we have now arrived at another exciting session, the panel discussion with the theme Actuarial Perspectives, the Odyssey to ESG. This is where we explore how actuaries aren't just shaping the financial outcomes anymore, they are shaping sustainable futures.
ESG, environmental, social, and governance, may sound like three simple letters, but behind them lies a complex web of responsibility, resilience, and real impact. From climate risk modeling to ethical investing, actuaries are the compass helping organizations navigate this new terrain.
And guiding this conversation are some of the brightest minds driving sustainability across industries. Let's give a huge round of applause as we welcome our moderator, Ms. Anita Charles, and our distinguished panelists, beginning with Ms. Hana Ghazali, Head of Data Strategy and Governance at Attica Insurance and Takaful. Next, we would like to have Mr. Kugendiran Ravindiran, Actuarial Director of KPMG. Last but not least, we would like to invite Mr. Izian Sherwani Mansoor, Head of Policy Design and Enhancement and EPF Malaysia, on stage.
Our panel moderator, Ms. Anita, is an actuarial fellow and lecturer at APU's School of Mathematics, Actuarial and Quantitative Studies. I will now pass this time to Ms. Anita to lead the panel discussion. Ms. Anita, the stage is yours.
Thank you, wonderful MCs. Great job. And good morning again, everyone. It's really nice to see that all of you are still awake, still paying attention, I hope. I know we're getting close to lunch, but this is our last session before lunch, and we have an amazing set of panelists here, so we're looking forward to just hearing and gleaning from them, okay? So actually, they did mention your position, but before we go on, I would love to hear from each of you a little bit more about yourself, but I would like to start with a rapid fire this time instead. So I'll give a question because the topic of our panel discussion this morning is actually sustainability by design, actuaries at the crossroads of risk and responsibility. So we know sustainability is a very hot topic, very, very hot topic, and it has been for the last, I don't know, maybe 5 or more years. I was in the industry before that, but it wasn't as hot. But in the last 5 years, I think it's really picked up quite a bit. So I would love to ask this question and then also hear from each of you about yourself. So my question for all of you as a rapid fire question is, what is sustainability for you in your role? And you can introduce yourself first and then answer that question. Okay, maybe we can start with Mr. Izian.
Hi. All right. Hi, everybody. I'm Izian. I'm the head of policy design and enhancements units in EPF. So I think my path is like quite similar to Patrick actually, but so I started my career in Bank Negara as an insurance regulator. So they sent me over to the UK to study actuarial science. I came back, and then I actually joined the industry in AIA and Generali, both insurance and life and general insurance as product actuary. Had a stint in a fintech company, AQM, where we look at digital insurance. And now I'm with EPF, policy making. So quite diverse background, yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, wow, that's like a lot of different areas. So I'm sure that means today you guys are in for a great time. All right, now let's hear from Mr. Kugen.
Hi, good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for having me. My name is Kugan. I'm the director in KPMG. I'm in the actuarial team. My path is a little bit I go around a bit, quite a bit. So I started off in Singapore in Towers Watson. I started off actually in pensions, and a lot of pension schemes in Singapore were getting grandfathered and winding down, and I realized that if I wanted to apply my actuarial skills, I decided to move to the life insurance side of things in Towers Watson itself. And then for personal reasons, I came back to Malaysia. I was in the financial risk management side in Prudential, BSN Takaful. And over there, I was there for a few years, and I was also, maybe something relatable to the team here or everyone here is I used to fail a lot of my exams during that time. And there was a point where I realized maybe passing exams wasn't for me anymore. So I just thought of giving it a rest and just continuing with focusing on my work experience instead. But after that, I realized that the rigor of the exams were very important. So I took a break from my career and moved and did a year did my master's in City University. And after that, I came back. I was in EY for a year, did some consulting work, IFRS 17, exciting stuff. And then I moved to Singapore again because sometimes you want to look for money here and there. So SGD was good. When I left Singapore, the SGD was a bit lower. Then when I moved back, it was higher again. And I was thinking that I could, travel in and out a lot of times. But then COVID happened, so that plan also got thrown away. And I decided to come back. I was working in MLRE for a while, and finally I got this opportunity to move to KPMG to do a lot of actuarial, but a lot more of the other sustainability-related work and basically what are the things that some actuaries don't really want to do, so they pass it to me. So I call it, I'm more of the line kind of a person in the KPMG actuarial team. Yeah, so that's just my journey so far.
Ms. Hannah?
Hi, good morning, everyone. I'm Hannah. I'm also a disciple of the Patrick path. No, I started out similar to Izia, and I started out my career in Bank Negara. I was a Bank Negara scholar, worked there for 6 years. But I did the actuarial exams while I was there, worked in public policy as well as economics, which is something totally different. But then I thought, okay, maybe I should do something actuarial. So I went into actuarial consulting at KPMG, but in Hong Kong. So I moved to Hong Kong for a few years and then moved back also with consulting. And finally, I did another career pivot to Etika, which is where I'm looking at more data analytics and also the automobile profit center. So across my career, I've worked in policy making, in economics, in life insurance, and now in general insurance. So hope to emulate the Patrick path and support it. No, because it's been such a learning journey. I think I do encourage it, and it's as Dato' Syed also said, it's a good way to absorb everything, a little bit of all the different angles of the actuarial career. So maybe just to go back to the question a little bit on sustainability, right? I think that is actually at the heart of what we do as actuaries, because when we make decisions, when we look at numbers, I think we always need to think about how, we look at the long term a lot of the time, and we need to think about how sustainable our proposals are, our solutions are. So I think that's something that's always been maybe subconsciously at the back of our minds as actuaries. When we design a pension plan, we always have to think about, is this sustainable? So although not directly in the way that it's being discussed in terms of climate risk today, but we'll talk about that a bit later, I think sustainability is very much a value that is in line with the actuarial profession.
Yeah, and I would love to hear from Mr. Izian too about your role and sustainability.
Yeah, so my role in EPF is to design policies that are future-proof. So what this means is we are trying not to just solve the current issues that we currently have in Malaysia, but we try to identify shifts in the future that can actually alter our society, right? In 2048, Malaysia will be an aged nation. So what that means is, actually 2048 is not that far from now, right? It's like 23 years. And most of you guys are what, 20, 21, 22 years old? So by then, Malaysia will be an aged nation where 14% of our population will be aged 65 and above. So there'll be a lot of old people in Malaysia. So, how can EPF design policies taking into account all these like trends and changes? So some of the policy questions that keep me awake at night, actually, are Malaysians outliving their retirement savings, right? Okay, it's a good thing that people live longer now, but that means that their retirement savings have to live also longer, right? If not, then you'll be in deep trouble. So that's one of the questions that we ask. And then also in retirement, medical expenses are actually take a chunk of your retirement savings. So, how do we actually link our pension system and also the care economy and all this to make sure that it's sustainable? Yeah. So just to...
Definitely, yes. The aging population is the other one. And Mr. Kugin, how about you?
Yeah, so in my work with a lot of the clients, we have this conversation about, because there are some requirements that are being stipulated. So what do we do to adhere to those requirements and also ensure that not just we provide to society in a sustainable way, but also to manage the business currently in a sustainable way as well. So I think finding that balance is very tricky, and I think it applies to all three of us here. I think even for EPF, you are going to put aside money today for tomorrow, right? You need to be able to pay for your bills today and things like that. So I think that the balance is something that is tricky for everyone. So in that, for me, the sustainability is more of finding that balance between your future needs versus your current requirements. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, so I think just from hearing from each of you, we can see that, even if maybe sustainability is a hot topic now, but it's always been at the heartbeat of an actuarial role. And that's what Ms. Hannah mentioned earlier as well. So, and I feel like all three of you actually not just have tapped into the traditional roles, but actually have experience in a lot of non-traditional roles. And I think it would be wonderful for our students to hear maybe what are some non-traditional fields that they can, consider, because we do see that actuaries is actually something that in a lot of fields they really do look up to. So maybe we can hear that from Ms. Hannah, some examples and from your own experience and even others that you may have heard of.
Yeah, I think this was discussed in the previous panel as well, but actuaries are very well equipped to do a lot of, almost anything that requires two things, which are logical thinking and a comfortableness in dealing with uncertainty and risk. So I think naturally as actuaries we are trained to think very logically, where step by step, if we have a problem, we start to break it down into smaller parts and start to tackle it. And then also dealing in uncertainty. I think all actuarial assumptions have some sense of uncertainty to it. We're okay with that, and we know we do stress testing, scenario testing to understand the degree of variability that can come up. So I think almost any role that requires those two things, we are very well equipped to do that. So personally, for me, I found that I'm quite keen to see more actuaries going into data analytics, data science, as well as AI, because I think that the skill set is there. Actuaries are already very well equipped in statistics, which is at the heart of AI, of machine learning, right? When you go down to the fundamental principles of it, it's down to statistics. Data science is about coding, programming, that requires logic. So I think all the fundamental, the basic ingredients are there already. We just need to cook the right dish and mix those skill sets to make the perfect recipe to be successful. So those are the kinds of roles that I think actuarial students would thrive in.
Thank you. Just to share a story as well, about a year or so ago, I went to a conference in Saudi Arabia and I met some actuaries working in the drilling company because, you know why? There's risk involved, right? And actuaries can, anywhere there's risk involved, actuaries can be at. So, there's a lot of fields out there that actuaries can actually contribute and bring your knowledge to. So thank you for that. Mr. Izian, I have a question for you. When we talk about actuarial role, it's a lot of analysis, a lot of technical things, but in your role, right, you do a lot of policy making and a lot of business decisions. How can you, an actuarial and analysis directly impact business or policy decision in your current field?
Sure. So maybe I start with this. Actuarial analysis and actuarial work is actually how you change all these numbers into decisions that really matters, right? So it's all numbers really, but what sense can you make out of all these numbers, right? So in EPF, we see a lot of trends. For example, we see withdrawal trends, we see contribution trends into the EPF. So EPF is actually a pension. So just a hands up. I don't know, I'm talking to students. Who here has actually heard of EPF? Hands up. I have to ask this question because okay, some, not all, yeah. So once you go out there and you join the labor force, you contribute some of your portion of your money into this EPF fund, EPF scheme, for your retirement. So 11% of your wages will be parked into the EPF, where we try to invest and hopefully deliver for your. So we see a lot of withdrawal and contribution trends. And recently we've introduced what we call a flexible account, where 10% of your EPF account you can actually withdraw at any time. Previously it used to be all locked in until age 50, 55. So a lot of study are being done actually, and it's interesting because we see there are some people who actually just withdraw once when we introduced the account flexible, and they never did any withdrawal after that. There's another group where they every month they withdraw their account flexible, so their account flexible is like zero all the time. And there's also a second group where it's very, very random. This month they withdraw, 3 months down the road they withdraw. So all this like analysis we do, and actually it helps us also shape certain policies that we are trying to drive at EPF. So yeah, that's what we did in EPF also.
A lot of uncertainties, and a lot of different scenarios,
correct,
right?
Yeah. It's very interesting.
Scenario testing, right? And so to just follow up on that, right? It's because of these kinds of analysis and this kinds of work. What do you think are some important skills or experiences that you may have had in your journey that has helped you build, to actually grow in this area? And because for our students, I think it would be good for them to know, right, what are some experiences or maybe internship or anything that may help them in their journey.
Maybe I pick from like each of my experiences before, right? So I started working in Bank Negara. As an insurance regulator, I think I learned how the financial sector connect with our everyday life, right? It's not just about compliance. It's about consumer protection. It's about how do you ensure that the market behaves as they should be, right? And from there, I learned good judgment and also integrity. And then I moved on to the insurance industry as a product actuary, and I see things from the other side, right? So I do a lot of product pricing, design, risk assessment, talk to actually business teams, agency, try to link all this. So here I learn how to bridge the technical side of actuarial and also the more layman, because you have to you have to talk to a lot of different teams in the different language, that they can understand. And then I moved to an insurtech company, where as a startup company, I was pushed to learn creatively very fast. It's a very unstructured environment, and then here now in EPF, I think I'm blessed that I can actually learn from all these experiences, bring it together and help me in my work when I design policy, for Malaysia that can directly impact the financial stability, for our members in EPF.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, so, I think it's a theme, even from the previous panel, I'm hearing this, right? It's very important to not just know how to do the work technically, but being able to communicate to our non-technical, in a non-technical way is very key. And I think that's something that all of our students, as you're learning, as you're growing, think of it that way, because we have a lot of stakeholders that you will be facing with that. You need to make sure that you don't just run the numbers, crunch the numbers. Those are important, but making sure to also build your communication skill and being able to communicate to a non-technical audience is very important. So yeah, Mr. Kugen now. So I have another question for you. So in your role in sustainability services, right? And you said it's the work that maybe not the other actuaries wouldn't want to do. So in that role, what are some work maybe that you have done that you have seen, there's been a positive impact maybe to the society or environmental outcomes, just wanting to hear from.
So the work we do now, more towards climate-related work, and it's to sort of do some projections to relate back in terms of what are the climate-related risks back to your existing kind of insurance risks or mortality, morbidity kind of a risk. So these kind of things are things that when we started this conversation many years ago, a lot of the companies go like, no, it doesn't affect me. It's not something that we need to be concerned about. It's something, when you talk to the life insurers, they'll say, oh, it affects the general insurers more. And when you talk to the general insurers, they'll say, oh, no, it affects life insurers more. So from that conversation, I think we moved to really, and thanks to also Bank Negara for doing a lot of the requirements to come up with the stress testings and the scenario analysis type of things, the conversation starts to move along the way, and a lot of the clients that we talk to, the stakeholders that we speak to, they appreciate a lot more of this climate-related risks to their portfolio. And we think about climate risk, it's not so just on the liability side or the cash flow side, there's also your operational side, right? So things like flood will not just affect your liability in claims, it could potentially affect your office. Tomorrow you want to go to your office, suddenly you realize, oh, it's flooded, I can't go in. Like, how do you do your job and things like that? What have you thought of those precautions as well? So these kind of things are stuff that come up through this kind of conversations, and I think that's how as an actuary, well, it doesn't sound like a very actuarial thing at this point, but there are some very rigorous regression models that we have gone through to sort of prepare those results and share with our stakeholders as well.
Thank you. And so to follow up to that, what do you think would be important skill sets and maybe even capabilities that our students should consider growing in?
Yeah. Of course, these are new things to a lot of people, even to actuaries as well. So really explaining this in a very layman sort of a way is very useful to a lot of people. And it's important to get that buy-in from various stakeholders. So a trick that I sort of try to do, and I hope I'm not giving away too much, is that I try to have smaller groups of people to communicate with, get their feedback along the way and see what do they think about this particular solution and this problem to start off with and how you're attempting to solve the problem, and get their buy-in as well along the way and get their feedback. And once you get their feedback, you discuss it over a bigger group. So we do that internally within KPMG, within our team, then we sort of spread that out to the client and we speak to the client in smaller groups and we expand that forward as well. So really, and a lot of the technical work happens behind the scenes. There's a lot of work that the team does to get that across, but really at the end of the day, you don't see any of those codes or the formulas in the end. We don't show all of that out. We show the results, how did we move from this result to the final outcome, and how do we make sense out of it? What does it mean? Temperature goes up, it means higher mortality. That's kind of the final line that happens at the end. It's like a one-liner, but below that, there's a lot of work that's being done. So yeah, I think it's just getting from that technical sort of rigor all the way up to make it a lot more manageable for people to get and understand. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, so that means that we have to be good at being able to explain our numbers as well, right? Not just run the numbers, and I always tell my students this, you don't just memorize formulas, know what they're doing, understand them, so that you can explain them at a later time.
I just want to add to that. So,
Yes.
I mean, in terms of memorizing, yeah, we need to do that for exams, but you don't have to worry about that when you're at your job, right? I mean, you're not going to test you, suddenly your boss shows up and says, can you memorize this? They're not going to do that to you. So it's more of what you do with the tools that you have along the way and sort of applying that to the question or to get the answer at the end.
Correct, yes. So critical thinking is very important then. Thank you. All right, so Miss Hannah, I have a question for you. So I think we have addressed this some, but I just want to hear a bit more from you. As we've heard this hot word earlier, the two-letter word, right? AI, AI, data analytics, and then ESG as well. So now the profession is really evolving, right, with all of this. How do you think actuaries in your area, how are they adapting to it, and what does it also mean to students entering the profession today?
Yeah, I think this was, I touched on it a bit earlier where I said that, actuaries are in a good place to leverage on data and AI, and I really do think that's the case. We have the basic skill set, but I think what will make the difference is actually, I think something Patrick mentioned briefly earlier, which is the actuaries that use AI will stand out compared to the actuaries that don't know how to use AI, don't equip themselves with data science techniques. So, for data science, right, you have to be familiar with tools like SQL, like Python, to be able to go through the amount of data that is now available. So when I first started out my career, I won't give away my age, but it was a long time ago, and back then, big data wasn't a thing. We did all our work in spreadsheets. I think that was discussed earlier as well. That was enough to handle the volume of data that was around at the time. But now we have so much data that your spreadsheets will crash. Like you try and do it, you'll get a 100 megabyte spreadsheet, and then eventually it will just give up and roll over. So you need to use big data tools. You need to use databases. You need to use techniques to pull them out. And often these are quite opaque because they involve programming. You can't really see what your code does. You put in a code to pull out some data, and you hope that it's giving you the right thing. So I think that is how the nature of data analysis is now evolving. So you need to, as actuaries, we have the advantage of thinking things through logically and seeing whether this result makes sense. So am I pulling out the right thing? If I'm pulling out a premium number, it should be in this roughly around this number, and you get to sense check that. So I think that's where the actuarial skills are coming into play in the environment of data and AI. The other thing is, so as we do our traditional actuarial work, it now involves, you need to use these skills to pull out the data to then perform your traditional actuarial work, your experience studies, your analysis. You need to be able to leverage on these tools so that you can continue to perform the same thing on a much larger data set. So there are already actuaries that are starting to do this, and I think that's just the way that it's going to continue going forward.
Thank you. Yes, that's totally, now that's the trend, and definitely equipping yourself. And as for the university standpoint, we also really try to bring in some of the coding classes. We want to help our students to make sure that they're equipped for the industry as well. So because of that, I have another follow-up question to that. Maybe Mr. Coogan, you can answer this. To help our students in their development, what skill gaps do you notice in young actuaries entering the industry, and how can students start addressing them now?
Well, I think because of how the curriculum is structured, a lot of the technical part of it is sort of covered in that sense. So we expect a certain level of understanding in terms of what you will need to do on your day-to-day. More towards not really testing you exactly, but making sure that later on when we try and talk to you, have a conversation with you, and you are coachable in that sense, so you can grow in the role as well. That's what we look for when we sort of get in candidates. So that part, we're not too worried in terms of the technical side. And a lot of the other gaps, when you say, is things that we can develop along the way in the corporation itself. When you join us, we know how to groom you and sort of keep you capable to sort of go and have that capabilities to talk to clients and things like that. So maybe I would say one of the key things is going to be in terms of communication, really being able to deliver your thoughts out very clearly. And when there's a question being asked, how do you articulate those answers well enough? Right, that's one. And another thing would be more towards really when it comes to understanding how do you apply the knowledge that you have gained into a particular problem. I think that part is still lacking in candidates, but it's something that we appreciate, and it's something that you will only get through your experience over your job. And now with AI coming in, things like coding and stuff like that, those are things that, as long as you know a basic level of Excel kind of skills, we can sort of train that when it comes to using other kind of programs and stuff. So really these are things, I wouldn't say it's a gap that you guys need to run out and go and fix it now. I would say these are gaps to be aware of, and just be open to learn these kind of things when you start your role as a fresh grad, in a sense. Yeah.
Thank you. Anything else, Mr. Izhan or Ms. Hannah, want to add to any skill gaps maybe that?
Yeah, I would say maybe not to, a gap is maybe overemphasizing, but
maybe that's a stronger word.
But yeah, so maybe an underappreciated area. Actually, I would like to reiterate the point on communication, and it's not just about communicating, but it's about effective communication, right? So a lot of people can say one thing in 1,000 words. Data's numbers speak 1,000 words, but how can you say it in 10 words that get you to the point straight away in a way that the audience can understand? Because communication is two-way, right? It's you presenting and it's the audience listening. So you need to always put yourself in the shoes of the listener and see, how can I present this in such a way that the listener can absorb it? So I think, and the other thing is to communicate simply. So how do you do it in a way that even people with non-technical backgrounds can understand? And I like the reference to the how your parents can understand, but I think if we have parents who are actuaries now, maybe they're very technical already. But so I always think about the grandmother test, so that's what I knew it off as growing up. Can you explain this in a way that your grandmother understands it? So always try and simplify, and it takes a lot of practice, as Patrick said. You keep keep trying to explain the same concept to different groups of people, and I find that when I try and teach someone, that's when I realize, oh, actually this is, I'm communicating it in a way that is more complicated than it needs to be. There is a simpler way of doing this. Let me try. And you'll find that the better you understand something, actually the more effective the way you communicate it will be. So just keep practicing, and that relates to both written and verbal communications. I think writing effectively is also an underappreciated skill. So keep trying to summarize your writing. Is this the best way of writing this? And of course there's ChatGPT nowadays, but the skill of summarizing, I think, is also underappreciated.
Anything else from your end?
Maybe just to add a point, again, not a gap, but based on my experience also in the industry when I was at EIA, because we do have interns coming into the company, and we work very closely with all these interns from universities, and I think I appreciate a lot of the interns who are curious, right? They just think the problem, okay, what are we trying to solve actually here? So those who actually ask questions, good questions, I feel they stand out more. So be curious, ask questions, be very clear about the problems that you guys are trying to solve. Don't just go take all this data information and just go to your spreadsheet. No, don't rush. Understand the problem, discuss with the team. Why are we doing this? So when there's clarity, then you will see your work will be much better.
Wonderful, yeah. So for two things that I'm hearing is, one, communication skills, but not just communication skills, effective communication skills. And second is also having that curious mind, and asking questions. So, maybe you've been told not to ask questions, but actually it's good for students to ask questions. Maybe upbringing or things like that can make you say, oh, I don't know if I want to ask questions, I'm too shy. But actually, to build yourself and to grow, asking questions is where you are actually going to learn. So, and that also shows that you are actually interested and you're wanting to grow and learn. So thank you. So I'm actually going to open the floor up for Q&A right now. So we will start with the Q&A session. Anyone? Yes, I see one hand right there.
Good afternoon. Just one question. How do we know that we're becoming good actuaries? Usually, when I talk to my colleagues, there's this challenge that sometimes we manage to get through the semesters simply by memorizing the formulas, crunching the numbers without actual understanding. So, are there any benchmarks we can use, some KPIs, to actually see that we're maturing into actuaries? Because it's possible to finish the whole year or even the whole degree without actually understanding some of the things you're studying. So how do we actually measure that we're growing and maturing in the profession?
Thank you. Yeah, so how would you measure a good actuary? Any KPIs?
I think it's not about, I don't think I'm a good actuary. So I don't think it's about getting to a point. There's no benchmark to be a good actuary. I think it's about being you as an actuary, right? So how do you apply what you have learned back into your job? I think that's key. Of course, an easy benchmark, I would say, is if you qualify, right? That's a simple benchmark to say you're a qualified actuary, so you are a good actuary. But that is only, to me, qualifying as an actuary is unfortunately or fortunately, is a starting point of the rest of your career. Because after that, you actually start seeing things where if you want to become an appointed actuary, you need to serve at least 2 years post-qualifications to show that you have certain experience. So there are a lot of benchmarks out there. There's no, if you want an exact KPI, I need to give you a right answer or exact KPI in that sense is to qualify. But I don't think that is even that is not a good KPI per se, because you don't have to be a qualified actuary to be a good actuary. There are a lot of actuaries out there who are very, very talented, very, very professional, very, very good in what they do because of their experience. So really, it's about learning every day, growing as an actuary. Because once you think you're good, you won't listen to anyone else. You will just think, I'm good, right? So I don't think it's about getting to a benchmark in that sense. But yeah, you can always try and go for exams and keep learning.
Yeah, I was going to add that, memorizing is maybe the first step. If you go back to like primary school days, 1 + 1 = 2, you have to memorize that, right? It doesn't make sense to you at first. But the more you look at it, the more you understand, and the more you explain to people, the more you know what you don't know. And I think that curiosity, that willingness to learn, I'm reiterating a lot of the previous panel, learn, unlearn, relearn. I think that is already a sign of a good actuary. And along the way you will develop certain interests, certain passions. I think that is also a sign of a good actuary. So yeah, there's no one clear sign, but I think the fact that you are still in the profession, I think is a sign of a good actuary.
For me, if I just add, I think how an actuary provides solution to the problem, right? Understanding the stakeholders, like I think the previous panelists also, I think Dr. Hamada mentioned. So what, right? You have a lot of stakeholders with different objectives, different views, and how do you connect all this? How do you use your knowledge, actuarial knowledge, to address their concerns? To come to a landing ground where everybody, all the stakeholders can come together and say, okay, this is really a good solution. Thank you. So I think that's actually one of the key things that I look when I work with different actuaries, right? You guys are not just like problem solvers, but you add value to all this. You even make the team think, hey, actually, are we actually solving the right problem? Probably this is not the problem that we're trying to solve, need to solve. Maybe there's a bigger problem out there. So like, it's very, very interesting if you can actually add that color to your profession. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Any more questions on the floor?
Compared to the previous group of panelists and this group, why is this group as strong as the previous group which can appear on this stage? Like, how are they as strong as the previous group? Tell us the strength.
To be very honest, I don't think I am.
I don't think you're anywhere close.
This is the junior league.
Maybe they are
differently.
Sorry?
That's why you see we quote a lot of the previous panels saying they are next level.
The mentees, they are the mentees. And the next generation, they're coming up as well. Yes. Yes, I think I saw a hand raised up. Oh, yes.
Okay, I understand that this segment is about sustainability, and I believe the panelists here are still in technical roles compared to transitioning into more managerial positions, I believe, from the previous panelists. I want to ask how relevant is our current curriculum to what we'll actually be doing in the future, and what skills will we need to learn that are relevant to our actual work. And skills not as in communication, I understand that is very understood across the board. I want skills such as programming, what languages do I need to learn, what actual tools will I need to develop, because previously I came across a job offer, I was just looking, what do they actually look for in a job, and I noticed a lot of them look for computer skills, computer as in programming, straight into programming. They want you to program. So then I wondered, what is the difference between an actuarist and someone who has a data science specialization in computer science? And how will that affect my job security in the future?
Would you like to address that?
I mean, that's a very, very good question that you have brought up. Well, when it comes to skills itself, it actually goes back to what do you want to do, right? Do you want to do programming, or do you want to be an actuary, right? When I started, I did do, and thanks for saying that, we are a lot very technical because we are kind of at the managerial level and we oversee a team now, but we do look at the ground in terms of looking at technical stuff as well. But when it comes to looking for a job, you yourself need to know what is it that you truly want to do. Do you want to be an actuary? Then there is a path for you. If you want to go into data programming, there's another path for you. But as an actuary, there are certain things that you need to learn along the way to understand how to apply the tools that are needed. So a particular company would use a set of tools. For example, a life insurer might use Profit, another insurer might use another software, a general insurer might use another software. So it's taking those tools to apply the technical side of it to do the calculation. When we started, we looked at the orange book, right? There's a book that shows you the life table, and you can see the letters and all that you need to memorize, or not need to memorize, but you can refer to that. But now the industry has moved to AI, and they're learning more in terms of coding, and IFOA as well has adapted that. I'm not trying to, show off IFOA too much, but it's actually adapting to that sense, and now you have online R kind of tests and all that. So in the society, and that's our role as well, to sort of push those kind of changes at in the institute level and even university level. We have that kind of conversations behind the scenes with universities to say that we need this kind of skills coming in to get that kind of to get your students at a certain level so that we can train them further. So when I say what would you like to do, that's more important. And in terms of software skills, there's not a particular software skill that you need to learn at this point. But in general, it'd be Excel for sure. You'll definitely need that when you go into at least an actual role. Yeah.
If I can add from EPF's point of view, because we have like 8-9 million active members, so there's a lot of data coming in. So ability to work with like large data sets also is actually one of the skills that EPF is actually looking at, because the data from at EPF I think is much bigger than insurance companies. We have a very large database trying to make sense of all these like different patterns and trends. So that is actually one of the things that if you ask me, ability to work with large data sets, trying to and go back to your programming and all these skills and tools that you can actually use to make sense of all this. So that is actually a thing that I feel is quite important.
Yeah, that's good. And
yeah, I just wanted to add, I think talking about relevance of your university curriculum, right? It's completely relevant and in some ways not relevant at all, because when you work, right, it's totally different. You learn the theories and stuff, but then when you go into the working place, it's not as perfect as the theory. So I think the most important skill is the ability to learn new things, adapt. And I think while holding on to the basic fundamental principles, learn how to reason the logic from first principles. I think that will take you a long way. And yeah, so there's not one programming language that is applicable everywhere. So I think the ability to learn that. So if you have one programming language, it's very easy to learn another. So I think that those are the important skills that you want to focus on at university.
Thank you so much. Actually, we're coming to a close now with this panel discussion. I actually don't know how about an hour just flew by. So that was just, it was a very fruitful discussion, and we're going to close. But I want to just say thank you to Ms. Hannah, Mr. Kugan, and Mr. Izian for your availability and also for sharing your wealth of knowledge to our wonderful students here. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you very much to our panelists for that engaging and eye-opening discussion on sustainability by design, actuaries at the crossroad of risk and responsibility. It was truly inspiring to hear how actuarial professionals continue to drive sustainability, ethics, and responsible decision-making across industries.
Indeed, Smaran. It's been a meaningful session filled with insights and forward-thinking ideas. And of course, thank you to Ms. Anita for being a wonderful moderator. Let's all give her a round of applause, everyone. As we conclude our panel discussion, we now move on to a special segment of the program, our appreciation ceremony for our panelists. This segment is dedicated to recognizing the individuals and partners whose continuous support, commitment, and contributions have made the Actuarial Summit 2025 possible.
To present the tokens of appreciation, we would like to invite Professor Vinesh, Chief Innovation and Enterprise Officer, accompanied by Associate Dr. Rajasekharan, to join us on stage.
First, we would like to invite Ms. Hannah Ghazali, Head Data Strategy and Governance at Etika Insurance and Takaful. Next, please welcome Mr. Kugan Thiran Ravindiran, Actuarial Director of KPMG. And finally, we would like to invite Mr. Izian Sherwani Mansoor, Head of Policy Design and Enhancement at EPF Malaysia. Now we would like to invite all our distinguished panelists for a group photo session.
Let's give them another round of applause to our awardees for their remarkable commitment and support. You may now return to your seats.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, concludes our panel discussion for today. Company representatives and academicians, you are invited to a fine dining meal at level 4. You may start making your way there for lunch. As for the students, please remain in the hall for a short briefing from Yayasan Peneraju.
After this speech, then we
Now we would like to invite Mr. Akasha from APU Corporate Training and Career Center to give a short briefing on behalf of Yayasan Peneraju. Let's welcome him with a big round of applause.
Check. Okay, Assalamualaikum dan salam sejahtera. A very good afternoon, everyone. My name is Mr. Akasha. I am from APU Corporate Training and Career Center. Okay, so I think it's a lunch hour. I believe everyone is hungry. Yeah. So at the same time, I knew that we have guest students from other universities as well. I want to know UATM students, where are you guys? Okay, all right. USIM. Oh, UATM got both sides, Okay, USIM. Okay, UM. Okay, that is the only government universities, right? I think the rest are from APU students. And I believe some of them are also from other private institutions in Klang Valley, yeah. So I'm here. I just want to take your approximately 10 minutes, your attentions, okay? Especially to those Disclaimer because I am representing APU as well as Yayasan Peneraju. Siapa pernah dengar Yayasan Peneraju? Raise up your hands. Okay. You guys sekarang ni, may I know, going to LI or going to be a fresh graduate soon? LI, after this LI, latihan industry, okay? So for APU students, okay, I believe you guys know us, okay? We are providing trainings to our corporate clients as well as our APU students and also other students from other universities, especially to those government universities, okay? I've been to all, UATM, UNIMAS, UNIZA, UMP, UC Tati, just name it, okay? To actually representing on behalf of Yayasan Peneraju as well as APU, okay? So basically, we have been working with Yayasan Peneraju since 2018, yeah? A lot of schemes are offered by them to actually develop our Bumi Putra, Semenanjung and also Sabah and Sarawak, okay? So we also did share brochures in your goodie bag, yeah? Alright? So basically, before this, a lot of schemes, you know, to at the age of secondary school, primary schools, working people, final year students, okay, they are offering a lot of courses, training to upskill you guys, okay, in all segments and all ages, okay. So, what is the difference after you graduate between you and other students outside there, okay, that have degrees in actuarial science, for example, or any IT related? What is the difference? Same. So how to make you guys different from others? You tell me. Skills. Okay. So Yayasan Peneraju is under Ministry of Economy. Okay. They have billions of ringgits to actually sponsor you guys. Okay. To actually upskill yourself. Kalau korang tak ambil, siapa lagi nak ambil? Tahun depan, Kerajaan Madani bagi 6 billion to Yayasan Peneraju. You boleh buka balik our rancangan Malaysia next year. 6 billion to Yayasan Peneraju to develop you guys. Kalau korang tak ambil this opportunity, siapa lagi? Betul? Okay. So I'm sharing this. Okay. I believe I'm very sure you are from business, economics, actuarial science, mathematics and so on. Ada yang related as what panelists and also our moderator mentioned just now, AI, Gen AI, Copilot, they didn't mention about cloud, but they mentioned about data science and everything. So we do have programs, okay, yang tech related and also non-tech related for you guys. You're talking about AI, ada tak? Okay, you're talking about cloud, ada tak? You're talking about now cyber security, ada tak? Okay, setiap pekerjaan dekat dunia ni, mana yang tak involve Excel, you beritahu saya. Mechanics, ada pakai Excel tak? Ada, check spare parts. You know, those kind of environment pun perlu pakai Excel. Kalau you ada banyak data set you, so you nak guna apa? As mentioned just now by Miss Hana, if not mistaken, Python, Power BI and so on. Okay? So, this is all the requirement. Not requirement, all the courses. For upcoming one, we do have Copilot, AI engineer, AI related. And also we do have NVIDIA. Korang tahu NVIDIA main game kan? Yes. Okay, so the one is upcoming. Alright, so next please. Okay. Okay, this is fully sponsorship program under Yayasan Peneraju. We as a APU as a training provider. Okay, what do you get when you actually join this particular program under Yayasan Peneraju? Official training content, of course, yeah. All classes can be online or physical. We will arrange that accordingly to the approval. Okay, and all the certifications that APU actually work with and to certify you guys are all globally recognized. you're talking about what? Microsoft, AWS, cloud. Okay, cloud ada dua, Microsoft and also AWS. Okay, Python, Power BI, all under Microsoft, Google's. Okay, and also Rochester for under cyber security. Okay, all this certification yang korang boleh add on to your degree qualification to make yourself different. Okay, because you nak fight dengan budak-budak universiti lain kat luar sana. You're talking about APU graduates. Okay, APU graduates already embark all those programs inside their curriculum. How you guys want to compete with them? How you guys going to compete with Soundwave students? How you guys going to compete with Uniza students? Budak Uniza pun ada yang akan ambil ni. Kalau you just ada degree je, I don't think so that it should be sufficient for you to compete or to demand salary higher. Okay, you know that our cost of living is getting higher. Of course, you want to demand more, correct or not? Right? So next, okay, requirement simple. Dulu susah. Requirement untuk apply scholarship under Yayasan Peneraju is very complex. Okay, but now it's very simple. As long as you are Bumi Putra, I don't think that they will reject you because of other reasons. Only you you are seorang Bumi Putra, Semenanjung ataupun Sabah dan Sarawak, tak kisah Kadazan, Iban, whatever semua tu is Bumi Putra. Okay, 17 tahun dan ke atas. Semua 17 tahun kan? Betul? Okay lah. Mestilah ada 21, 22 kan? 18 kan? Okay? Itu saja sebenarnya. Tak payah tengok yang lain-lain tu. That is the main criteria. Maknanya kalau korang Bumi Putra, korang semua Bumi Putra, betul? 18 tahun ke atas, kenapa tak boleh lulus? Ada exam, I believe memang ada exam. Okay, you kena buat exam in order for you to pass. In order for you to get certified. Okay, takkan tak boleh nak pass 2 kali attempt for you guys. Okay, insyaAllah belajar lulus, tak belajar bahasa kebangsaan pun boleh fail. Betul? Alright, next slide please. Simple. Okay, you guys ada receive email tak? Have all of you receive an email, welcoming email last night? Okay, so we going to issue everyone digital certificate for you on your participation to join the Actuarial Summit. Okay, but for Bumi Putra, I really want you to highly consider to come to, but everyone have to come to our booth downstairs to actually redeem, not to redeem lah, to actually be at our booth in order for us to issue your digital certificate. Okay, everyone. Okay, but for our guest students, UATM, USIM and also UM, please highly consider to actually register to save your seat in order for us to actually communicate with you guys on your interest to join all the programs. Dekat brochures yang I bagi tu ada mention what is yang non-tech for you, perhaps can help you to actually be a different graduate than other graduates. Dia ada 1 hari program, ada 3 hari je pun program dan online. You can share to all your friends. Tak kisah budak tu SEM 1 pun. Sebab SEM 1 dah 18 tahun ke atas, betul? Okay, tak kisah. Parents korang pun boleh. Dia tak ada maksimum had umur, tak ada. 70 tahun pun boleh ambil. Tak ada masalah. Okay, the process, my colleague will advise you accordingly. Okay, dekat bawah. Because process tu is between you and Peneraju. But if let's say you interested, you apply, because every application, APU have to issue you an offer letter for you to apply to Yayasan Peneraju. So, saya berharap sangat ambil peluang ini, okay, as a Malaysian Bumi Putra, okay, to take this opportunity. Because kalau tidak, duit tu kita pun tak tahu ke mana. Sebab duit tu, saya bayar tax. Betul? Lecturer korang bayar tax. Parents korang bayar tax. Semua duit tu untuk korang. Simple as that. Okay, untuk korang develop diri korang. Okay? So I believe program yang kita offer dengan Yayasan Peneraju ni is very relevant to what you are going to actually use for your pathway of future career. Okay, you are not talking about manager, you're not talking about head of department, you're not talking about those superior level. Okay, as a fresh graduate, for you to enroll, to embark yourself into the career world. Okay, you might use those kind of certification to make yourself different. Sebab nak compete kat luar sana is very hard. As mentioned by them, working environment is totally different than what currently you are going to be learn inside your module. Okay, you guys belum LI lagi kan? LI kan, internship pun lain. Okay, some manager takkan percaya korang boleh buat ke tak, sama ada dia orang bakal bagi korang task tersebut or not. Okay, alright, so next slide please. Okay, I think this can apply, is already in the brochures. Okay, so I believe you guys can dismiss, right? I mean, they'll actually make an announcement for dismissal. Okay, so alright, so I hope to see you guys at my booth at level 3. Okay, Asia Pacific University booth, near to there is a, how to say, glass area there. Okay, so please drop by. Okay, to have Q&A sessions there. My team will be there to actually, assist you guys accordingly in terms of your digital e-certificate as well as your interest towards this program. Okay, alright, thank you. Alright, terima kasih semua. Have a great lunch after this. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you. Terima kasih banyak to Mr. Akasha for that wonderful speech. After that incredible brain workout, I think our stomachs are starting to say it's our turn now.
Exactly. We've been digesting information all morning. Now it's time to digest lunch.
Well said, Michelle. But before you rush to the buffet, remember, this is your networking lunch. It's not just about feeding your body, but also feeding your mind with great conversations.
So if you've been wanting to talk to one of our panelists, this is your moment. It's not every day that you get to interact with professionals from the industry. So make the most out of it, since that's what the Actuarial Summit is all about.
And who knows, the person sitting next to you could be your next collaborator, mentor, or even business partner. Just don't trade business cards before dessert, because you might need both hands for that plate of satay later.
So before I let you guys go, I'll let you know that lunch will be served at the cafeteria, and at the same time, the career fair will be happening at level 3. So take this opportunity to connect with industry professionals and put yourself out there.
And ladies and gentlemen, don't just run away after lunch, yeah? Because we have many more events happening right after. To name a few, we have the Ristorm Datathon and Lucky Draw that you definitely don't want to miss. And ladies and gentlemen, to be eligible for the Lucky Draw, be sure to head to level 3 to visit the career booths and collect those stamps or signature to be able to get to participate in the Lucky Draw. And that's all from us. Thank you and have a fantastic lunch, everyone.